Hey, Patriots fans, if you want to see Toyota's best offers, including those not seen on TV, go to buyatoyota.com. It's Toyota's official website for deals from the official vehicle of the New England Patriots. Toyota, let's go shovel snow.
Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
I think we got probably a new favorite in the clubhouse if there was like a coaching fight off. Like I think I'd probably go with this Scott Peters guy. He played in the
MMA
NFL.
guy?
Oh,
Yeah.
he looks tough. He looks tough.
What did you just call him?
MMA.
MMA guy.
Yeah,
Oh.
MMA. You know,
You said I, right?
Well, we know. What
Oh.
I mean.
The Wolf of Washington Street's hard at work.
What was Washington Street? I didn't.
That's the name for Route 1. You live in Sharon.
I didn't even know.
You live
It's
in
Route
Like
1.
the Providence Highway too, something like that.
Paul,
Yeah.
you're really gonna confuse everything.
Yeah. Played, in the eye or whatever, and as a traditional running back, but they're almost like different positions than Corey Dillon.
Oh yeah,
or
that's why we call
Curtis.
them. That's why they're calling them.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
why we're doing it
Yeah.
this way. Don't. That's why we're calling them third down back.
That's the whole point.
I know, but he
Why
said,
you get mad at us?
But
This is from Evan directly. I'm picking the Niners. BT Dub. So,
I don't even know what that means.
Kyle Shanahan, Fred.
Oh.
The offense.
What's BT Dub?
By the way.
Oh,
BT
Jesus,
Dubs.
Fred.
BT Dubs.
It's just the man.
I don't know if it was like Buffalo Wild Wings.
I was
or something.
speaking slang, you know.
And he's Patrick Mahomes. We know that the Chiefs have also had trouble.
But he's 0-2 against Brady in the
we,
playoffs.
We know they.
What does that have to do with anything?
We know
Well, he's
that.
not a winner.
But we
how
also-
do you call him a winner, Fred?
Okay.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right. Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Tuesday after the Super Bowl here at Gillette Stadium, and even though the NFL season's come to a big stop after the big game, NFL continues here on Patriots Unfiltered. We're going to be with you all off season, every Tuesday and Thursday, talking Patriots and football and whatever else is on our minds. So that's what we're going to do today. It's Deuce. It's Evan. Evan, how you doing?
Doing better.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Still in mourning over Sunday, but
Yeah.
it's all right.
Really?
It's Paul.
Who died?
Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. We're going to get into all.
Who died?
We're going to get into all of the
Wasn't
Super
Brock
Bowl.
Purdy.
We'll talk about the game. We'll talk about the commercials. We'll talk about halftime, and whatever else is on your mind today. 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket Hotline. But before I forget, I want to let people know that this Friday, Apple TV Plus is
Plus it
dropping.
up. Plus it up, Freddie.
Is dropping Patriots Dynasty, the Dynasty. And
Yes, it's
Yeah.
a dynasty.
so they're going to drop
Thanks, Gil.
the first 2 episodes. But even more importantly, we have decided we're going to drop a wrap-up show, a recap. I think we're calling it Patriots Dynasty Doc Recap. Okay?
Yeah.
So search for that wherever you get your podcasts on Friday. But wait until after you've watched the documentary.
Spoilers.
Yeah, because you don't want to get spoiled. And we will have a wrap-up show talking about what we watched. And so we're very excited about that. And every Friday for the next 5 weeks, we're going to be doing that because Apple is going to be dropping 2 episodes at a time. And we will wrap up those episodes and have a new wrap-up show every Friday until the conclusion of the documentary. So we're very excited. We did get a sneak peek, and I'm telling you, you're going to like it. It's going to be Patriots porn. And I think even people who aren't Patriots fans all over the world really will find it interesting. So I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about it and share our thoughts with everyone. Paul and I, we lived through this. So, I mean, we were there for the beginning, at least for these first 2 episodes.
That was my favorite part of watching. It was just when Paul would point out, "There's my head.
Here's me.
There's
Yeah.
me, right there."
Right.
That's me.
Right.
I'm an egomaniac. I pointed out every time I was in.
So this Friday, big day for Patriots fans.
First 2, right?
The first 2.
Yep.
So, but let's get into it. Obviously, we want to talk about the Super Bowl. This is the first chance we've had together to talk about it. My team didn't win,
No.
And all those people said, "How can you bet against Patrick Mahomes?" Boy, were they right.
Yeah.
How can you bet against Patrick Mahomes?
That's how I felt the whole game. It was just like, you guys better start scoring some touchdowns because, like, if this game stays like this, it's just a matter of time before he kicks into gear and engineers a couple drives, and that's exactly what he did. Like, I was just, it was almost like just felt inevitable to me at a certain point in the third quarter, I think, where it's just like, man, San Francisco just can't do enough offensively, and they're not putting up enough points. They can't get away from them, and Mahomes made him
I
pay.
just got, once they muffed that punt, I was like, this is the Patriots.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are the Patriots. They're
Just
doing
waiting them out.
exactly what the Patriots did when they were winning. They take advantage of every idiot play, pooping the pants by the other team down the stretch in the big game, and that's what it was. And they've got Tom Brady, which is now called Patrick Mahomes.
It is now referred to.
Yeah.
Just so much so, like, I mean, not to start off on something completely meaningless, but like Dre Greenlaw, tearing his Achilles.
I felt so bad
on the
for him.
side. Like, and especially he
I
had
don't think I've ever seen anything
two
like that.
big plays too at start the game, and you just you almost felt like he was the one bringing the energy, and then you just kind of a little random skip going into the game,
He just blew his Achilles.
and it's never good when they come back and they show you like some footage that while we were away, and they show him like just pop. You almost could see it with like Aaron Rodgers when he popped his Achilles. You could just see that right there.
Yeah.
But that was just one moment that I'm like, man, it's a tough fight right now for the 49ers.
Well, I mean, he got hurt. Deebo Samuel wasn't 100%. Kittle was in and out. So injuries had nothing to do with it. Bad calls had nothing to do with it. But
no, Chiefs overcame them all.
Patrick Mahomes had everything to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's. You know what I hate though is just like the thing that pisses me off is like, so now we just go right into comparison mode. And it's like, and I just want to say my Theodore Roosevelt comparison is the thief of joy. It's good because it's like it doesn't even appreciate Patrick Mahomes. It's just like, all right, well, that's what he did. How does he compare to Tom Brady now? Like, well, you just like give the guy his day and let him without having to stack him against everything in the universe that's ever happened before.
He's coming at defending Patrick Mahomes.
I'm busting your balls, but I agree with you. I just don't understand why everything has to be a referendum on forever.
Right. That's everything
that's
the whole point.
Today in sports is a referendum on what will be for all time.
I know, but
why does it have to be like that immediately?
It was.
And I'm not saying Mahomes doesn't deserve it. Believe me, I'm saying the opposite. I actually just wrote the opposite.
No, I mean, listen, I'm completely open. I was rooting for the 49ers just so that the Kansas City Chiefs didn't get to this point. Yeah. But it was at this point for the Patriots where we were talking dynasty, where we were comparing Brady to Montana. So it's only fair that they do that as well with the Chiefs and Mahomes.
Well, I don't know if we were comparing Brady to Montana after 3.
Oh, I can give you a clip in the Dynasty documentary where it absolutely happened.
Yeah. And that was the only defense of Montana is that he had never lost in a Super Bowl. And
but after 3, like I remember
when he won his third, he was called the greatest of all time.
Right.
By somebody on the documentary who the name is escaping me now. But
I don't
one of the writers.
Spoilers, Paul.
I don't remember people, the general masses, putting Brady above Montana until they beat the Seahawks.
No, that's not. Maybe
until they got.
I'm not
4.
saying you don't remember. You
like,
don't,
I mean, he was 9 years old.
But they were saying it. That's true. They were saying it.
I just.
We were among those that were there.
Certainly in 07. Certainly by 07.
Yeah,
they were saying
that was it.
He was the greatest of all time.
Because I think the 07 season was the one that sort of showed, okay, like the first 3 you can make an argument there was defense and running game, but then when he showed you, oh, I can play that way and win.
Right.
But I can also set all your passing records, too, if you want to win that way.
Yeah.
And I think and I agree with you, Fred, it wasn't that long.
Right.
It didn't take that long for most people to say this guy is among the greats. That was it.
Yeah.
For even the last naysayers.
Right.
The game manager stuff kind of went away.
Yeah.
There's always trolls, like that Nick Wright guy. I think that Nick Wright guy still says that.
Yeah.
But most people said he's a little better than we gave him credit for.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have no problem with all the comparisons and calling them a dynasty because we certainly call them a dynasty.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. I don't think Mike is saying he has a problem with the Chiefs being called a dynasty. But why do we have to just automatically
it just jumps
say
right into where does it stack up
right.
against Brady now? And it's like, well, I mean this is a compliment to Patrick Mahomes. Like, he's doing it his own way. Brady did it his own way. That was special, and it was great and amazing. And now Patrick Mahomes is doing it. It's just the instant rush to like, okay, one, now how does this stack
better?
up?
Is this
like,
better?
Right.
Is
like,
it,
you go right to that.
Well, they were ready
And
for
it's
it.
like,
yeah.
I mean, and you want to make the comparisons. Go for it. I don't care. I mean, it doesn't. It doesn't.
I mean,
take away
listen,
what we
I
feel.
agree with Evan. It's clearly, you win
Yeah.
3 in that short of a period of time. That's a dynasty.
Yeah, and-
just like the Patriots, Gil Santos.
And as long
Yes.
as Mahomes is playing well and is healthy, they're going to keep winning.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're going to keep winning Super Bowls, but they're going to be in the hunt every year.
Yeah, and I said to Evan upstairs, I was like, it's almost a good time to stink because, like, how would you feel if you had a quarterback like Josh Allen right now, where you're like, man, we got a guy, like, we got to win a Super Bowl, and it's like Mahomes just keeps slapping you back, and it's like,
it's Peyton
all
Manning, right?
We're just gonna run the clock out
Until
on
he
Patrick
broke
Mahomes
through.
here.
Yeah.
We'll draft a quarterback in 10 years, and then we'll try to make our move.
Yeah.
So, what did you guys think of the game itself? I mean, I'm gonna let Evan open a vein later on Shanahan, but like the game itself, well, it started kind of blah.
Yeah.
But then it was the Brady thing.
Yeah.
Like, you get to the second halves of these games and the defenses are out of tricks.
Yeah.
They can't stop anybody.
Right.
And it started a little slow in the second half, but by the time the fourth quarter rolled around, that was it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just was surprised that, Debo was, like you said, was hurt, that they just really had nothing to go to. Like, you got all these weapons you've been talking about. Ayuk had a couple catches, but, it just felt like, my God, it all feels all on Brock Purdy right now. And he's got McCaffrey, and either he's finding and having a big, 1 or 2 big runs, but it was a grind for him too. And, as soon as it just seemed like Debo's not really doing much damage,
Kittle.
he can't really go to Kittle, it's like, all right, well, it's all on Evans' guy Purdy, and I don't think he's going to be able to pull this out.
Yeah, I think Purdy had a good game. He just doesn't have that extra thing when the pressure's happening to make that decision under pressure like Mahomes
And that was
did.
the difference in the halves.
Yeah.
The Chiefs,
Yeah.
and I've been telling you all, I think the Niners line stinks. They could not stop them. They just completely attacked Purdy in the second half.
Yeah.
And, for the most part, they kept moving the ball, but then when they got down there, they came up with a big play right down to the last one in overtime.
Third
They
down.
had 3 guys wide open on that play.
Yeah.
The guy he threw to was open. And plus he had 2 other guys that were open in the middle of the end zone. I think Ayuk was one of them. Was wide, like the guy fell down that was covering Ayuk. But no one blocked Chris Jones.
Yeah.
How do you not block Chris
know.
Jones?
It's kind of important.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people want Kyle Shanahan's head. I mean, we know.
I don't want his head, but I like to make
well,
fun of him,
I know-
especially because Evans.
I know
did.
a lot of 49ers, they're down on Kyle Shanahan. I don't know. I mean, I know that he's been involved in 3 Super Bowls with double-digit leads that were given up. But, I mean, he gets you there. So that's more than a lot of coaches can say in this league. I don't know. And then
I think it's silly to think about moving on from him.
yeah.
I'll say that. That's another Mike-ism. Like, right after the game, it's like, is it time?
Yeah.
I mean, should the Niners look to move on from him? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
He literally took what many people think is the greatest quarterback of all time to overtime with Brock Purdy as his quarterback, and we want to get rid of the guy. Like,
Yeah.
I think what you saw in that game, Spagnuolo was awesome, and the Chiefs' defense was great, but they played cover 1 man-to-man or cover 0 for like the entire game, and just dared Brock Purdy to beat them down the field. Just dared him, and he, whether the pressure, whatever you want to chalk that up to, they couldn't do it. They didn't make the plays down the field that they needed to make. He missed a couple throws. There was definitely pressure in his face other times. But I think when you look at these Niners, and I watch a lot of Niners games because I do love Kyle, and I watch a lot of their games, and it feels like they are swimming upstream the entire game because they have to, everything around the quarterback needs to be perfect for them to put up points.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people criticize Shanahan. Oh, they should have run more in the third quarter. I found myself saying, open it up, go like not just these short passes. Oh, go downfield, and maybe they just couldn't do that.
Well, I thought Trent McDuffie was really good in that game.
Yeah, they did play.
And I thought they made some really good plays in one-on-one situations
That's true.
downfield.
Yep.
I do think that they got away from the run a little bit in the third quarter. They had 3 3-and-outs to start the second half, 8 passes. And I'm not saying that it was because of Purdy that they didn't move the ball, but McCaffrey is your best player.
Yeah.
And they got away from him a little bit there. Now, people are like, they didn't run the ball in the second half. They ran the ball plenty in the second half. I mean, he had like 13 carries in the second half. That's a lot. If you have 26 carries in the game, that's a lot of carries for a running back. He was the focal point of the offense. I thought where I would push back a little with Evan is I thought there was, for the most part, I thought Shanahan was fine. He was normal. He was regular. But I thought in individual plays at key moments, I don't think he did some of the right things. I think he got away with one of them. Going for a 4th down there instead of tying the game, I thought was insane. It worked by a half a yard. But they get down in field goal range. It's like 3rd and 2. Like, did they run McCaffrey in any of those 3rd and shorts?
I don't remember.
Like, and it was clear Kansas City was just going to say, we're coming after Purdy. Like Evan said, we're going to expose ourselves. We're going to have some cover zeros here because we're just going to go after Purdy, and we're going to hope that we get the ball out of his hands quick enough that he can't.
Right.
Because that, even like that last play, like, I don't put that on Purdy. Like, maybe Brady makes that play. Maybe Mahomes makes that play, but most guys aren't.
Yeah.
And just hand the ball off once. And then if you're going to go for 4th and 3 in the 4th quarter when you're down 3 or whatever they were at the time, I think they were down 3, right? 13-10. Why wouldn't you go for the 4th and goal?
Yeah.
I definitely.
Or 4th and 3 from the 9 or something like that.
Yeah, that second guess.
Why
I
wouldn't
think
you
is
go for that
probably
one?
The most fair because if you kick the field goal, Mahomes is scoring a touchdown.
We haven't even started about the decisions on the coin toss. I am not convinced he knew the rule. I am not convinced that he knew what the rule was.
I mean, their defense had just been on the field.
Mm-hmm. And you have 20 minutes in between
and they were
that
playing,
time and by the time they got back from all the commercials.
They were playing for the 3rd possession.
The only way you take the
Right.
ball first is if you know you're going to score a touchdown. How can you know that?
Well, they were playing for the 3rd
No.
possession.
You're
That was
right.
what they were doing.
playing
Right.
for the
He's
3rd.
saying we take it first, we score, they're going to score, and we have a chance to win it on the 3rd possession.
Correct.
Yeah,
But you have to know you're going to score in order to do that.
No, I don't mind that thinking you're going to score, but like you're playing for a 3rd possession. That
Right.
might not exist. There are 2 possessions
That's what
you
I'm
know
saying.
are going to exist.
That's what I'm saying. If you don't score on your first possession, all they have to do is kick a field goal.
Right, but they might not score either.
That's
You're
true.
playing for a 3rd. There are 2 possessions that absolutely have to happen. I want the second one so I know what I need to do.
Right.
I want to have 4 downs.
That's the
Like,
thinking.
let's flip it. If Kansas City got the ball first and they get stuffed in that 3rd and 1 before they even got a first down, are they going for 4th and 1 from inside their own 35?
No, it makes it easy. You know what you got to do, right?
Are they going for? I mean, they
Yeah,
might have,
that-
but I don't think they
giving
would
him
have.
essentially 4 downs.
They gave him 4 downs.
Was a
Right.
I agree with
Yeah.
that. I mean, I there's logic to both sides though. There really is. Like
There is logic to
I
it.
don't think there's a lot of logic to playing for the 3rd
you're gonna
possession.
score. If you know you're going to score on your first possession, there's logic to it.
Why?
Because
The other team now controls it. If they score, they have the ability to win the game.
No, I'm talking about a touchdown. If you score
Right.
right.
That's what. Did you hear what Andy Reid said? Did you hear what
that
the
they were
Chiefs
going
said?
to go for 2?
They had the whole thing. If we win the toss, we're going to defer, and even if they give up a touchdown,
Yeah.
if we can match it,
Right.
here's our 2-point play. This
Yeah.
is what we're doing.
Right.
So
You
you
think
don't
they
have,
would have done that in the moment?
Yes, and you
I
do
think-
not. You do not have control. Is my point.
Yeah.
I
I
think
want to
their
be the
2-point
second team
play-
because I'm in control.
I think their 2-point play is the one that they won to win the game.
It might be, but it's the same one that they used twice last year against the Eagles. So who's
it
to
was
say they
similar.
wouldn't have used it again?
Yeah, I think that might have been their 2-point play, and they said, well, we don't need the 2 points now, so we'll just run
I
it.
agree
from
with you, Ev.
Yeah,
I do.
I think with Purdy, and I know that people think that I hate him because I do. No, I'm just kidding.
He
But
played okay though. Like he didn't.
He
cost
plays
him the
fine,
game.
but Brady. Tom Brady was on with Steve Young last week, and there's a clip that made the rounds a
Oh
little
God,
bit.
did I hate that clip? But
And-
go ahead.
Why?
And-
Why'd
and
you
he's-
hate that clip?
And he's saying
a good
that
clip.
how many times he sees quarterbacks snap the ball when they're running a play that they know isn't going to work. And that is what drives me nuts about Purdy, is that he comes to the line of scrimmage and they're popping the center on the 3rd down play in overtime with a one technique over the center. Like where do you think he's going to go? So like they don't have the blockers in the middle, right, to pick up everybody. And he just gets to the line of scrimmage and just snaps the ball. And it's like, yeah, he's a second-year quarterback. Maybe he improves on those things. But when you get into these games against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and all the stakes are out there, these are the little margins that you just can't win with. Like it's these little things that add up. Trent McDuffie comes through on a third down completely unblocked when they had the numbers. They just didn't have it pointed in the right direction. And in 5 years, maybe he starts to make those checks at the line of scrimmage. But they're in a win now mode now. Like this is they're in a window now.
Yeah.
And if they don't maximize the roster or that they have around him right this minute, Brandon Ayuk is going to be gone. It sounds like Deebo Samuel, who knows? Like Nick Bosa, like all these guys that are at the peak of their powers right now. It's all going to flame out. And these quarterbacks, like that's the difference. Patrick Mahomes is a great equalizer. You can have flaws other places in your roster. You can make mistakes in the course of a game. The Niners have to play one way. They have to have the script go exactly as planned. And the second that they start to have mistakes, they are too far behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I didn't like it, Fred, is it just, to me, it reeked of Ted Williams. Like, you can't hit that?
Right.
Like, yeah, Tom, I don't know if anybody ever told you, but you're the greatest quarterback who's ever played. And the reason for that, largely, is your mind.
But that's
so to just suggest that anybody who runs around to make a play, that means he failed on the play because he didn't know. Like, yeah, Tom, yeah. What Evan just said is 1,000% right. There were probably times in the game that Brock Purdy didn't recognize what you recognize in your sleep because he ain't you.
But I think,
and neither is anybody else.
But he's not physical. The problem with Purdy is that like a guy like Mahomes can run around and make the play.
Right, which Tom says that means he stinks.
Well, and
like
I don't
he
agree
made a
with
mistake.
that part. But with guys like Purdy, they're not good enough to do that. So if you're not dominating pre-snap, and you're not physically,
but that's what made him so great.
Right,
he dominated pre-snap. Like I just think, and I understand that Tom's not going to say like, when I was the greatest, but he's overlooking how hard that is.
No, but I think
he's downplaying it because it was easy for him.
But I don't want to give away any spoilers, but like if you watch the documentary, you understand what Brady put into getting to that point. Like I'm sure he's just has a natural mental ability, but he worked hard at that. He worked hard at understanding defenses and put the hours in.
But what I'm telling you is you could take 100 quarterbacks to put the same amount of hours in.
I know.
And you might get 10 of them to understand it the way
but
Brady did.
I didn't. I found the clip. We're talking about the Steve Young and Brady clip. I found it great because that is Tom Brady. He's saying, this is what I would see in front, before a play, and even,
I'm not doubting that for a second. That's absolutely what Brady would see. I saw it a million times.
And I think if I'm a quarterback, I'm aspiring to be like that.
I remember the clip against the Ravens when Ed Reed was Trent McDuffie in the play that Evan's talking about. And here he comes, and we don't have it. We can't block this. Mm-hmm. We can't block it.
Yeah.
I can't slide the protect. He's unblocked. Brady said, I'm just going to throw it over his head. I know where he's coming from. I'm going to wait for the right time, and I'm going to throw it over his head for an easy touchdown.
Yeah, but
I just feel
that's
like
against one of the greatest defenses of this era.
When you spin it forward to the looking at the Patriots and looking at quarterback play in the league, my takeaway from that clip, I understand where Paul's coming from, that it was a little like, I could do it. It was so easy. But you have to have one or the other.
Right.
Like, you either have to be able to dominate in that respect of the game, or you need to be Patrick Mahomes and you need to be able to phically dominate.
Well, or he probably does it both ways.
And we'll see if Purdy develops, because Purdy will not be able to do it the way the runners do, but we'll see. I mean, it's really his first full year as a starter.
But I'm just saying in general, if you're looking at quarterbacks in the draft, if you're looking at quarterbacks as a general statement, like that's the league now. The league is either filled with guys that dominate after the snap, mostly. Like that, it's Patrick Mahomes, it's Josh Allen. Those are the guys that are winning. Like those are the guys that are doing it at a high level. And these other guys that do need to be perfect on the margins, they're coming up short. Like it's the Jared Goffs, it's the Brock Purdys. Like those guys just don't have enough of that ability that Brady did, because nobody will. And I think it was Brady, it was Peyton. Maybe Drew Brees had a little bit of that in him, and everybody else is just trying to just survive post snap of Trent McDuffie's coming through unblocked, and I'm just going to have to get rid of the ball and make something happen.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was a great game.
Yeah, me too.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was funny because Sean McManus, who heads up CBS, predicted, in jest, it's
Double
going to be
overtime.
double overtime. And then I'm thinking, oh, my God, we're getting close to that.
So that would have been
The second quarter.
double. That would have been double overtime,
Yeah,
right? So,
it did.
forgive me. I know
The Chiefs would have kept the ball.
it does. Yeah, no, I
yeah,
know that.
it's just a continuation.
right. But did the clock start at 10 minutes?
Well,
Or 15. Forgive me for not knowing that. I don't think it matters. Someone asked me a question that I had absolutely no clue of an answer. Why do they have a clock
Right.
in overtime at all?
Maybe just for the plays, like
It was
having
15
to.
Oh, no, you need a play clock.
But no, but I mean just to
Well-
say when the
well,
plays
let's
were
just
run,
see
like
that
we
you're-
know in the game
let-
book, you'd have no way
No,
just
but
to list the
let's
plays.
just say that you're on that third possession, right? And you're behind, and you're coming up to the end of that first quarter. You have to score before the quarter's out or the game's over, even if you're still possessing the ball.
No.
Which quarter? The second?
If there's a team that's winning or losing, you're telling me that if that quarter ended and the Chiefs would have lost,
Why else do you have a clock?
the Chiefs wouldn't have lost if they didn't score on that play.
Yeah, they would have kept the ball at the
Yeah.
beginning of the
They
second.
go into the second quarter?
Yeah.
it would be the second quarter. Was
Yeah.
I what they because I was thinking the same thing when it was counting down. I'm like,
it's
You
treated
sure
the
about
same-
that?
I'm
Yeah.
absolutely positive.
It's quarters.
yeah,
like,
they said they would just go into the second quarter.
Then why
now
have
they
a
would
clock?
That well,
and we're back.
That's it.
We brought it home.
But I thought the answer was because you have to do it within that quarter.
No,
No.
it's not like it would end it like
No.
it end like in the regular
Paul's
season.
right.
where
I
it
mean,
would
there
just
really
end.
isn't no. I mean, the only thing I could possibly think of is just to categorize the plays of when
Yeah.
they
In the
happened,
regular
at what
season,
time,
if
and-
that 10 minutes runs out, it's a tie. So I understand why there's a
Yeah.
clock there. But in there's no ties in the playoffs.
But would the third? But if it went to a third overtime, would that be halftime then? Would that
That-
change
that-
things?
I
Like,
don't know.
could
and you
that
said it
change
was
things?
15. They started that at
15.
15, so there was 2
15.
possessions in the
Yeah.
overtime.
Crazy,
Huh?
crazy.
Yeah, and the Niners had a 7-minute possession, right? Running the ball, as everybody said.
They were trying to run the clock out.
That they
didn't
abandoned the
know
run.
the rules.
Well, that's why McCaffrey. I looked it up because everybody was saying it as I
Yeah.
was driving on Monday. I was like, I don't remember. Like my mind's I didn't remember that. And then I looked up the game book and it was like McCaffrey had 9 carries in the first half. He ended up with like 20-something, 22, I think.
Yeah, I
He
think
had
that-
13 carries in the second half.
That's
a lot
the
of
only,
carries.
The only defending of Kyle Shanahan that I will do because he did not have a good end to this game. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he was great, but we don't even talk about it correctly. Like we just make stuff up. Like we just say, oh, they abandoned the run in the second half.
They didn't.
They didn't. They ran the ball 7 times in overtime on their drive. Like they didn't abandon the run. Like and they would just make this stuff up instead of actually pointing out real things that actually happened in the game. Like the third down play call in overtime stunk. It was a terrible play call. It was not going to work. And they run a 0 blitz and you're play actioning against a 0 blitz. Like good luck with that. Like, it was not a good play call. But that's not what we're talking about.
How they scored that touchdown with the throwback. I was like, man, if the Patriots tried to do that, they'd have lost 20 yards.
Oh, these Patriots, you mean?
I didn't love that call either.
I know that was
hairy.
that
I mean, it
was
was
really. There were a lot of people in that area,
Especially at that time of the game, I thought the Niners were doing what they wanted to do offensively. They came out the first couple of drives, and I thought they looked really, really crisp offensively. Yep. And then you throw that play in. That was weird.
There was just a lot of traffic around there. I'm like, oh boy.
I know.
Yeah.
How about Juwan Jennings though? Like,
He probably would have won an MVP if they had won the game.
Right.
Well,
if they had won it in regulation, like let's say that the Chiefs didn't go down and get a field goal at the end and they won whatever it would have been 19-16, I guess. I think he would have. Like I think McCaffrey probably, as he continued to pile up the big plays, would have gotten it. But I thought it was the fourth quarter and overtime. I thought were riveting.
Yeah.
When both teams kept getting the ball and having to score, and they both did.
I think I was just too angry because I'm like, you idiots, you're going to let Patrick Mahomes win. Like, that was the
Right.
whole time I was just sitting there. That's what I was thinking of, like, man, you guys don't get it.
I just appreciate greatness.
Yeah.
I do too, but I think
know,
it's just,
they had
you
it.
see the game unfolding a certain way, and you're like, guys.
Especially the second half, they come
guys.
out and he throws an interception.
Both-
I'm
I
like,
was gonna
okay,
say,
here we
both-
go.
Both teams made really huge mistakes.
Oh,
Both
yeah.
teams fumbled in the red zone.
Yeah.
Mahomes comes out, in the the first drive of the second half,
Right.
and throws a pick,
Right.
Even though that would have been punting anyway. But, the punt was huge. But it's not like the Chiefs didn't do anything wrong. And
wasn't there like 7 fumbles?
You can't
think there were
complain
7.
about the calls on this one. I know the Chiefs get every call according to everybody on Twitter, but there were about 4 calls that were like, huh? In that game.
Down, there's one third down one.
To start overtime, the third down holding call, which I thought was probably a good call, but didn't really get called the rest of the game.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like the Philadelphia one the year before.
Right.
It's funny how it didn't end up costing the team a game, though. I don't know how these things work. It's much like the Patriots. Like, Patriots used to have calls like that every once in a while, and they overcame them.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't become a huge thing.
What'd you think of halftime?
I loved it.
Good.
It was great.
I thought it was good.
I think from the roller skates on, I liked it.
A lot of energy.
Before the roller skates, I didn't think there was enough energy.
Alicia Keys was before the roller skates.
I know.
Yeah, but that got a little mellow.
Yeah, exactly. And like, they're always trotting her out. You know,
Alicia
like
Keys.
how
I know,
many
no,
Super
she's
Bowls
at
has
every
she
Super
done?
Bowl.
Like either pregame or.
Yeah.
Everybody likes her.
I just really like how now like millennials are like the target demographic for the Super Bowl halftime. So it's like it takes me back, you know, like it's all of our people. It's Usher, it's Rihanna, and I remember as a kid, it was like my father, you know, maybe a little bit younger, and I was like, who are these people, right? But now it's like all for us, which I feel maybe makes me feel a little bit old, but also makes me feel happy because
Paul and I miss Up With People.
Well, so it's funny you say that. I did my new tradition I was telling you guys about. I try to, toward the end of the performance, go to Twitter to see if I can find someone who loved it and someone who hated it.
That happened.
Bang. First one I see, this is setting Super Bowl halftime shows back decades. Up With People.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
Then the next
Who said
one,
that?
I don't know, just
Who's Up
randos.
With People?
Randos on Twitter. I don't know who they are. Mike, no, Mike, these are your people. Talk to them.
Bob Straw.
So the next one, no, don't say this straw man. Then the next one is legendary performance by Usher, up there with Prince and Michael Jackson.
Okay, I'm not saying that.
And I'm like, there it is. I wrote about it in my notes. I was like, it's like an exercise that I've tried. Like, you can find someone immediately who loved it and hated it.
Yeah.
And I just find that so funny. I like Usher.
Yeah,
So it was kind of for me. I like that music, but
It's just if you're the target demographic, then you're gonna like it. If you're not, then
Right.
then you're not.
It's
and it's a very target demographic.
it's like U2, everybody. I
performance.
mean, the symbolism of 01 was, to me, still tops. But I don't like U2. I don't like their music.
But-
I don't enjoy the
Yeah.
performance. But it was an incredible halftime.
But I'm not the target performance, but when demographic. But when J-Lo and Shakira are out there, that was like high energy from beginning to end.
You are the target demographic. for
Okay,
that.
maybe.
Maybe. that was
Yeah.
different.
I mean, that was like, and I'm not like
She was
into
singing
either
to
of
me.
their music, but it was just a great performance by both of them from beginning to end. This one,
Oh, did
I
they
thought,
perform?
Yeah, well, I think this one started off kind of slow, but then the roller skates came and then he got into his big hit, you know, the one that
I can't believe he didn't do DJ Got Us Falling in Love.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good one. Did you see some girl fall off the roller skate thing though? I saw.
Oh,
funny,
really?
Oh,
I missed
she
that.
So I saw a funny thing this morning.
I
This-
like when
this-
that happens.
This girl was like,
Mishaps. Fred's there for it.
oh, she's got like a black eye. She's got like some bloody,
Oh,
kind of
really?
bloody
Like
face.
she
And-
really fell?
So this is
Ni-
like
nice, Fred.
I saw that coming.
So it
I
was an
like, someone's
after.
gonna
It
fall.
was an like after interview, and she's an actress, and she said, this is kind of a cautionary tale because, like when we used to cast people and you get actors' resumes, it always has like other talents, and it'll be like
Performed at halftime show on
you know,
roller
like
skates.
saber fighting. Like they'll have all this random stuff in there. So
Speaks
she put
French.
roller skating on her thing, and then she was like, "Yeah, I didn't know how to roller skate." And I guess I didn't see it. I didn't see her take it, but I guess she took a header and was all bloodied and bruised because she said that she could roller skate. And
I missed that. Did you see that? Did you
No,
see
but the Let It Burn Confessions mashup that he did in the middle was just chef's kiss. I mean, that was
Usher?
fantastic.
Is that Usher we're talking about? So.
Unbelievable.
Yes, Mike.
But I wouldn't.
I think I went to clean up the kitchen.
like Rihanna, is Rihanna. She's a goddess. She's perfect. But she was pregnant, and it was definitely wasn't her.
Yeah.
Her. I would say the Dr. Dre one was probably my recent favorite, just because I'm a big rap guy. But this was pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Dre.
then commercials.
The Duncan one. I mean, Ben Affleck. I just like those guys hilarious. And I just love how they use Brady. Like, they didn't make a big deal out of Brady. It was just like, my guy Tom, and it's just Brady with these little glasses on doing the and then how you like them donuts, I'm sorry. That line from Matt Damon was hilarious. I mean, and all the other, little stuff they've put out on social media. I mean, they sold those things. Those things sold out in like 17 minutes.
Me and Barth almost bought one. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, that would have been good.
Oh, you two should come out. You should do Catch-22.
Isn't that a great Halloween costume?
Oh, that's exactly what I thought, Paulie. Exactly. I mean, you and your buddy go out in those things. I mean, but they're hilarients. I mean, that's the only one that really stood out to me.
You can stay.
Yeah. And I thought, there was a lot of, brands that just, let's just get as many stars as we can that you wouldn't expect to be in a commercial.
I thought the same thing. I wrote that.
Yeah.
That the star power was there, but I didn't really see much that was overly memorable, other than the dunks.
That Temu company that had like 50 different ads. Did you see that one? It's like a cheap cheap place, like a cheap Amazon. That they had a bunch of ads in it, but I don't know. That was one that kept popping
I just
up.
want everyone to know. Jesus gets us.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that was Lane too. We're watching that, and she's like, "What is this ad?" And I'm like, "Just wait."
Oh, she hasn't never seen that before. They were always advertised.
I did like the Michelob with Messi and Jason Sudeikis. That was good. A little Ted Lasso shout out.
It was good, but like when you see that, it's like, man, they could be better. Like if you're gonna get Messi, it should be like so good, and it was okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
I thought the couch potato thing was clever, but a little too long.
I got too many people in my house to really get the
You
commercial.
don't remember the
I was
couch
at a bar,
potato
so-
one? The farmers, they're growing couch potatoes, and it's all these people that are potatoes watching TV.
I might have gone to the bathroom during that.
Oh
one.
wow!
I was
The
at
David
I was at
Schwimmer,
a
Jennifer
bar,
Aniston
so-
one. Was that Uber Eats, I think?
Yeah, that was
Oh,
Uber
yeah.
Eats.
That was good.
Yeah.
That's good. But
Star power, though. They
Yeah,
did.
a lot
They
of
had
star
a lot of
power.
stars.
Star power.
Dunk Kings took it.
Dunk
Dunk
Kings.
Kings. I loved it.
Not even close.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. The J-Lo line at the end, Tom, you can stay. Perfect.
That was good.
perfect.
That was good.
All right.
I was a little jealous because usually it's Paul.
You're J-Lo.
Paul, you can stay.
I just like how Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are like don't take themselves too seriously anymore.
totally. Exactly.
They've really like they bought into that fact of like we're
100%.
we're not that cool.
I
but
mean,
we're
how do you
cool.
like them donuts? Like that's gold. I mean, like having to be like really, like most guys probably be against that, but they're down for fire. I'm sorry. Questioning our friendship. No, good for them. That's they're bringing some silliness to Boston and Duncan and our partner, so it's great.
Yeah, a lot of Boston. There was Brady was in a couple commercials, and I was a little bit surprised by that. I feel like the Patriots were still in the Super Bowl in a way with him.
So I was like,
that's how I'm looking at it.
I don't know, Jim.
Oh God, was he awful?
that
He
was one of
was.
those things. But again, with so many
boy.
people in the house, I didn't hear a lot of that.
So bad.
I kept doing it, and people were like, "What are you doing?" I'm
The
like,
things that like
you
irk
can't hear
me-
it right now, but that's what he's doing.
The things that irk me that people say when I say that we don't actually have a real conversation about how the game unfolded are because he says these things on the broadcast and he's full of it. Like he has no idea what he's talking about. And it's just like then people regurgitate, Romo said they abandoned the run game as they're running the ball like 5 straight plays, and it's like what are we doing?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket Hotline. Should we
what's real cool?
final standings?
Oh yeah, you want me to do those? I
Yeah,
can
might
do
as
those.
well get that over with.
All
I
right.
picked
Well,
with my heart in the Super Bowl.
and-
well,
Not good, Bob.
Alex and Paul correctly predicted the Super Bowl 1-0. You guys all lost 0-1. With the spread, Alex and Paul correctly picked the Super Bowl. You guys all lost. So, Fred, you take the
but
overall
you know
wins.
what?
10-3.
I'm not accepting it.
No. What?
I think that if you lose the Super Bowl game, you can't
Okay,
win.
well, you
this.
win 10-3. I was 9-4. Evan was 8-5. Mike and Alex were 7-6.
I would have been 9-4 if I didn't pick the Super Bowl with my heart.
So with the spread,
I pulled a Fred on that one.
Paul and Fred tied for the lead at 8-5. I told you gave me an opportunity to tie you. I took it.
Okay.
I took it and broke a major rule of engagement. Evan was 7-6. Alex was 5-8, and somehow Mike was 4-9.
Jeez, dude.
No,
I don't know how.
it's just
I
the
don't even know how
opposite.
you. Live
I just got to do the opposite, and then I would have come in second.
How do you wake up in the morning?
The one last thing about the Super Bowl, like I was talking about this with my father and my brother. Like when I was like in high school, every year you get jacked up for the Super Bowl, and every year it was over in the second quarter. Like there was a string of NFC dominance.
Oh, yeah.
In my high school years, through early adults. Dallas just crushing Buffalo, and there were just no close. Now
Seems like they're all.
every game goes down to the last possession.
Yeah.
It's great.
It is.
It's great. Even if your team doesn't win, at least it was riveting down the stretch.
Yeah, we're due for a blowout, but I don't know when it's coming.
I mean,
like even the Patriots Rams one, that's 13-3. Like it wasn't a great game, but even that it's it's
Yeah.
3-3 in the fourth quarter.
Right.
intense. Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's get to the stacked phone lines here, and boy, are they stacked. We'll start with Eric in Nashville. Hey, Eric.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, Eric.
Hey.
So I wanted to ask kind of a question about the direction of this season a little bit. I'm not going to put the quarterback question by you because I'm tired of hearing about it. But in that kind of regard, what would you guys feel, or how would you guys feel, if we ended up drafting May and sitting him similar to what many teams have done in the past? When you look at the track record of that decision, there's a lot of guys like Montana, Steve Young, Brady, Mahomes, Herbert, Rodgers, etc., who all sat behind some quarterback, and in that next year they kind of started their reign. And I would kind of like to see that with this year because we have so many holes.
I don't have any problem with that if he's not ready to play.
I just wonder who is playing and why
Right.
isn't he ready, and how
Justin Herbert started the second game of his career, by the way.
Yeah, and I mean,
Tyrod Taylor had a collapsed lung in his first
and all
game.
those, and all those. It's all circumstantial.
Yeah.
I mean, Brett Favre was on.
Peyton
the team.
Manning started his first game too. I think that worked out.
Brett
all right.
Favre was on the team, and
Right.
there were Joe Montana with Steve Young, and there's all reasons why. Had they not had a quarterback who was seasoned, they might have started.
Right, but I don't want to play him if he's not ready.
No.
That I agree with Eric.
Yeah.
With.
But he's only not ready as compared to the other quarterbacks
Right.
on the
And
team.
that's
no, but what I'm
Not
saying is,
necessarily.
if he's better,
Well, not
let's-
necessarily.
Yeah,
no, because
go ahead, Ev.
it's relative to him. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make a difference if he's better right now than
Like
Jacoby
if they
Brissett.
sign
No, but
yes,
if-
if they
if-
sign Jacoby Brissett
Yeah.
and Jaden Daniels is better than Brissett, but he's not ready to play, then
Yeah.
I'd rather have Brissett play.
Yeah, because
But he's
not
better
ready.
than the guy.
But he's not ready to play. At least Brissett is ready. He can protect himself. He doesn't
Yeah.
have the skills that Jaden Daniels has.
Yeah.
But he knows how to play.
But to me, being ready to play is you're the best quarterback on the team
yeah. I mean, I would.
I just think
I
that there's
disagree.
at that time.
I just think
disagree.
there's a bigger picture that you have to look at, and you're not looking to win the 2024 season necessarily. You're looking for the next decade to have your quarterback. And if you throw him out there before he's ready, just because he's better than Joe Flacco,
he gets bad habits.
Right.
He's relying on his
Well,
athleticism.
I remember because I was kind of covering the team back when Bledsoe, got drafted in '93. I was doing another magazine, but there was talk. Oh, do you let him play right away? And he came on the team. You had to.
That's different. If he comes out on the field and Jaden Daniels is just a completely unreal in training camp and is playing out of his mind, then yeah, you play him if he's ready. But
if he's ready, that's why I
Yeah.
said I don't
But
want to sit him for the sake of sitting
But
him.
how do you know a guy's
Yeah.
ready
How do
in
you-
training
that's
camp?
what-
Because you know what you're calling and what he's recognizing. It goes back to Brady's comment to Steve Young.
Oh, okay. No, but that's what I'm saying. But to me, that's all part of being the best quarterback on the team.
No, we're talking about skills.
No. Wait, no. See, now you're thinking too much.
I knew he would use semantics.
No,
to
you're
ruin a good-
overthinking it. When I say a guy is the best quarterback on the team, I mean in practice. Like it's clear this guy's the best, and you can't be the best quarterback in practice if you don't know how to run the plays.
but
you can.
What do you mean?
I think Evan's right. I
It
think you
doesn't
have
matter
skills
if
that are
he's
better
better-
than the other guys, but the other guy's mind is
But if you're
more
not,
ready
but if you're
for
not throwing
games.
it to the right place, I can't play you.
But it's not even about the other guy. It's about is it what's best for this player's development? Like who cares if he's better than Joe Flacco? That's not the goal. The goal isn't for him to be better than a backup quarterback that's 39 years old. The goal is for him to be a star.
So do you think they should have sat Mac?
No, I don't. I think he was ready to play. I think mentally he's better than, coming into the league mentally, he's much better than
No,
physically.
but I still think you guys are overthinking it.
I'm kind of more with you, Fred. I want him to play. If he can't beat out Jacoby Brissett and he's the third overall pick, I'm going to be a little bit
if Jacoby Brissett
Right?
is like head and shoulders like running the team better, that means right now at this moment The other guy might have better skills, but right now this guy's Jacoby Brissett is a better quarterback. So I'm going to play Jacoby Brissett, but that's not always the case.
But what if Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback, but for Jaden Daniels' career, it's better for him to sit and hold the clipboard behind Jacoby Brissett for the next month?
Why?
Because it's just better.
Because you don't want him to get bad habits and rely on his athleticism and not see the plays through structurally.
And maybe
get hit
year,
too much.
Like this year, the schedule out of the gate is really difficult, and you don't want to throw him into a Week 1 game against Buffalo or Miami or something like that and have him get his butt kicked.
Now, if I'm not saying this because it's my guy, but if it's Drew Bledsoe and Scott Secules, okay, now that's a mild difference. There's no decision to be made. Even though Drew's maybe not mentally 100% ready, he's so much better than the alternative. We're talking about Jaden Daniels or Drake May physically is superior to Jacoby Brissett, but Brissett is more prepared to play the game now.
Well,
it might not be a bad
in the
thing.
League for
exactly. That's what Eric is saying.
But
That's all Eric is saying. I agree with Eric.
So then you're saying that no quarterback who's rookie should ever play before a seasoned veteran.
No. Some seasoned veterans aren't any good, Fred.
Well, then I don't want him as my backup.
Okay, well, if it's Bailey Zappi, he's not very good. You had him as your backup last year.
He's going to be more prepared to play than any rookie.
Not any rookie.
I don't need the rookie to sit the entire season.
Look, I'm not against the guy.
I would sit him for the first 4 to 6 weeks.
I'm not against the guy sitting. I'm not against that, but I'm just saying there's some circumstances where the guy comes in and you just got to play him.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of I am not anti-playing the guy. I just gave you a handful of examples of guys that were pretty good. I know this is another one. You can't take a quarterback in the top 3 because they all suck. Because they all ignore the ones that are good. And this is another one. Well, Patrick Mahomes didn't play his first year. Well, you know what? They might have another title if they played him his first year. How's that sound? You wasted a year playing Alex Smith. The one game that Mahomes played that year, he lit it up. So maybe you would have won that Super Bowl too. I just don't like this blanket where you have to have everything in a box. Yeah. Quarterbacks don't play. Quarterbacks do play. Why can't you just assess the two guys and make a determination from there?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think my whole point of view on this is just that I would be disappointed if a 3rd overall pick can't beat out somebody. And, and I understand.
I absolutely agree with that.
I just wouldn't say it's not beating out. And this is maybe
they're ready. And I think it's the line, too, of.
I would just, look at the bigger picture of. Is September of his rookie season really what you're after? Is him starting and them winning games in September of his rookie season really the bigger picture of his career development?
No. I don't know. I think you want to. I think you're micromanaging a little bit.
Yes.
If it's the top 3 quarterback, the guy that you have better be real. Your backup better be really good.
See, I agree with you guys on now. I think I agree with both. I see Mike's face agreeing with you. I agree with what you're saying.
I just think it's a line, and you want to acquire experience, and some of the things that maybe he doesn't have yet. Well, probably the quickest way for him to get it is just to see it in a game and get over it. But I get your point too.
No, it's always cause and effect, right? Patrick Mahomes didn't play his first year, so. That's the way to do it because he's great. He's the best in the game. Okay, well, I agree with something that Fred started to say a little while ago. When you're Green Bay and you have Brett Favre, you can afford to slowly integrate Aaron Rodgers because you're one of the best teams in football and you're competing already. When you're Kansas City and you have Alex Smith, you're already a 12-win team that's going to the playoffs. No, you couldn't win a Super Bowl with Alex Smith, but you were a really good team. You don't have that urgency. Yeah. When you're a bad team, what's wrong with letting – now, if the guy's not ready, he's not ready. Again, you got to treat it case by case. You don't want to break him. Yeah. But if he's ready – and I do think Mac Jones was ready his rookie year. I don't think that playing his rookie year broke him. No, it was everything that happened after that broke him.
High floor guy.
But now on the other side, if you know your offensive line stinks,
that was
now maybe you don't.
That was just the point I was going to bring up. If we're taking the quarterback at 3, and then you get down in the second round, and there's not really a tackle, and you're like, sorry, we're going to have to go with
That's why.
That's why I said
case.
It's circumstantial. Mm-hmm. What are the circumstances at the moment?
Like when you have a good team. Don't you think that also helped that quarterback slowly? Because now he's inheriting a good team.
Yeah.
This isn't that.
I just think a lot of teams rush quarterbacks that in Paul's scenario where you're a bad team and you just picked a guy high and you want that instant gratification of we made the right pick and this guy's going to flip our fortunes around. And I would just play the long game. Like I would be more patient than that. And it does mean getting a decent backup quarterback. And I think that's one thing about this free agency class. I don't love a lot of the Baker Mayfield, path quarterbacks in this free agency class, but I think like a Gardner Minshew or a Jacoby Brissett or one of those guys, they could carry you to Halloween. And you might be an acceptable team until then.
And if you're not doing great, well, okay, so, the season's, we're 2-5. Let's see if the kid can, give me something.
Yeah.
And again, it's all case by case. C.J. Stroud, he played day one, set all kinds of rookie records. Anthony Richardson showed some promise playing day one, before he got hurt. Bryce Young looked like he wasn't quite ready. He struggled playing day one. So I don't think you can just say definitively, this is how you do it. If you want to be good, like it's a Felgerism. If you want to be good, you got to do it like the Packers do it.
And how much?
Okay. Have Brett Favre.
Right. And then Aaron Rodgers and now Jordan Love.
Right.
And Jordan Love had some success right away, so that's the way to do it. You gotta let the quarterback sit for 2 years, 3 years.
Most teams don't have that luxury. That's why they're in the quarterback business. In market.
And even specific to the the quarterbacks that you guys were talking about in May and Daniels, even there's disparity between those two guys, and I think everybody kind of agrees that Daniels probably has, except for that one guy that calls in every week, that Daniels has a little bit more of a ways to go and a little bit more of development to do. But I mean that's probably a factor too of, there's also just the clock is ticking though, and it's. You want to get experience. You want to just get them to where they're going to be so they can start acquiring that experience as soon as possible. So it's, that's what's hard. But I mean, I go back to Bryce Young last year and wonder, was that a situation where there's not much around him? It's kind of all on him.
Well, that's why I brought up all three because they were all three bad teams.
Yeah.
And all three of them were taken in the top 4 picks, and they all started right away. One of them had immense success. One of them showed some promise, and one of them looked overwhelmed. So it's 3 kind of really varied results.
What was Joe Burrow when he first came? He played right away.
He played right away, and he was really good.
Yeah.
And he got hurt, and the team wasn't very good, but he was pretty good from day one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he got Jamar Chase, and then he became an MVP.
Then he became a star.
Yeah.
All right. 855-PATS-500.
And
Eric,
thank you for saying Jamar Chase.
Eric has been holding on. Thanks for holding on, Eric. Let's see. Anthony's in Seattle. What's up, Anthony?
Hey, what's up, Fred? What's up, my peoples?
Hello.
Hey. Hello.
Hey, guys. You guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, forgive my voice. I was sick over the weekend, and my voice is still trying to recover. But as Eric would say, according to Fred, splendid game. Oh, I guess that you guys didn't get that one. Okay.
Anyway. What was it? I don't think I
Who won the game? Is that what you said?
No, I said as Eric would say, according to Fred, splendid game. You remember?
Splendid game.
Oh, splendid.
Splendid. I didn't hear your words.
Hurrah.
Oh.
Hurrah.
Hurrah.
Gotcha, yeah.
That was wonderful competition.
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, listen.
Well done.
I'm in the minority of Patriots fans with this, or at least I feel I am. But I don't mind what Kansas City's doing right now. I appreciate greatness and all those years and those moments and those things that I got to experience and we got to experience as Patriots fans for all those years. Like those things can never be taken away, and those things are forever. So like another team getting another dynasty being born, or another team getting to experience that stuff, that doesn't bother me. And watching Mahomes play, the guy's a beast.
It's just too
soon. I enjoy it. I'm a football fan. I'm a football purist. I really like I said, I'm in the minority. I like what I.
No, that's good. I mean, listen, I hear what you're saying, Anthony, and but I mind it. I mind it.
Like a wonderful honesty.
I appreciate what they're doing. They deserve it. It's not a fluke. It's not, but I mind it. I don't want it to happen because I want it all for myself. I'm sorry.
I get it, and I understand. I just the defensive-ness. At least you are saying they deserve
Oh,
it.
of course they deserve
The defensive,
it.
like I had
And
two more people, like, just a reminder, the Chiefs haven't been called for a single holding call in the last two
God.
Super Bowls.
Yeah, okay.
Like, no, but in overtime, they had a guy catch a pass like 3 yards short of the first down, get knocked back 20 yards, and all of a sudden it's 2nd and 14. Like, I've never seen that in a game.
Yeah.
I've never seen a spot like that in a game. Like, he literally got hit and didn't get knocked off his feet. So instead of giving him forward progress, they gave it to him where they actually took him down.
No, but he disengaged.
He was
released.
yes, he was trying to
So
run.
you can't give him forward progress if he's not being tackled.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
If he got, let me ask you something. If that was the plane of the goal line, would it have been a touchdown?
If he crosses
no
the
further
plane.
questions.
If he crosses the plane.
No further questions.
No, that's different. It's not even.
It's the line you achieve,
no,
Fred.
No, when
That,
forward
I've never seen
progress
it.
stops.
Correct, and that was forward progress getting stopped.
But there's a different rule at the goal line. It's not the
I
same
understand
thing.
I understand
Come
it's
on,
different at the
you're
goal
better
line.
Than
that
that,
was
Paul.
an
You're
don't
better
do,
than
don't
that,
do
Paul.
that. You know that sends me into orbit. Don't do
better,
that.
Paul.
Be
better.
better.
Yes, that was an
Be
intentional.
better.
Yes, I gave you an intentional Andy Hart hyperbole, but do not tell me to be better. I'm not better.
Let's go to Ricky in Dorchester. What's up, Ricky? Ricky.
Hey, Fred. How you doing?
Good.
Hey.
All right. I just want to shout you guys out real fast. First-time caller, long-time listener.
Hey, thanks, Ricky.
Right.
I know, yeah.
Give him the heater,
I know
Ricky.
Samara's not here. Yeah, and Alex isn't there, but shout them out too. Love them.
Yeah.
Evan, good job. Great job. Love your analysis. And Paul and Fred, keep fighting. Love y'all.
All right. Okay.
And do stay.
One comment.
And Mike
And
was
the
there.
rest.
Question.
What's up?
So I'm going to say that Patrick Mahomes is probably like the NFL's version of Michael Jordan. So that's my comment there. I mean, I just think he's unstoppable. I mean, we're just watching greatness right now.
Yep.
I'm not saying he's a GOAT, but,
He's on the
Great
track.
player.
He's on the track.
definitely on a great track, yeah. My next question is, I know you guys have mentioned, like, Joe Flacco and Jacoby Brissett. But,
Yep.
like, if we were to have a bridge quarterback going into next year, like, what are, like, 2 or 3 options, free agent quarterbacks that you guys would like?
Okay, good question. Thank you, Ricky.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's what Evan said.
You mentioned Jacoby Brissett.
Gardner
I'd rather have
Minshew.
Gardner Minshew. I think he makes more plays.
I guess it depends on your definition of bridge quarterback.
Yeah, like Russell Wilson's going to be available.
Yeah.
But I'm not paying him.
Russell Wilson.
There's no way.
Kirk Cousins will be available.
Trubisky's going to be available now.
Well, yeah. But I think the real question, if you want to go a different direction in veteran quarterback, is do you want Justin Fields?
Yeah.
Like, Justin Fields is the one guy.
But see, if I get Justin Fields, I'm hoping he becomes the guy.
Yeah. Right.
If I get Gardner Minshew, no, he's just a seat filler.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the real that unless Arizona makes Kyler Murray available, which I don't think they will. That's really the sticking point is, do you believe that Justin Fields was Baker Mayfield? He was, misused or on teams that weren't, good for him, and Chicago wasn't good for him, and then he goes someplace else and he can all of a sudden turn it around and be a playoff caliber quarterback. I don't, but like that, you might.
It sounds like Pittsburgh's interested in him. At least that's the
Yeah.
kind of
Well,
scuttlebutt going around
that's
right
the
now.
rumor.
Mike Tomlin likes him, and I'm more on the Gardner Minshew, get a temp guy. Unless you want to
temp, not a bridge.
Get a temp, not a bridge.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you're going to get Justin Fields, you're saying we're going to build around this guy, and we think that this guy can take us back to the top of the AFC East.
It's hard to sell. We're going to acquire Justin Fields and draft Jaden Daniels or Drake May.
Yeah,
It's
no.
hard. So now
Yeah.
that's
Can't do
two.
both.
That's 2 draft picks to get 2 quarterbacks.
Do you think
And
second
you're
round
trying
pick
to
without-
develop 2 guys because I think Justin Fields still needs to be developed.
Yeah. Sure.
Like, how much time do you spend with each of these guys?
The Justin Fields trade would be like 34, and then maybe something else for Justin Fields, and then
I was thinking 3rd rounder,
Third
only
round,
because you're
yeah.
so high in the draft.
Right.
Schefter went on TV the other day and said that thinks that they could get
Schefter
a
thinks
first.
that Bill Belichick is coaching the Chiefs.
Well,
If they could get a first. If they could get a first, just keep him. Like what?
I think you're going to have to give up something. I think there are going to be suitors,
Oh, yeah.
and you're going to have to give up something. So you're hoping that you're going to take Justin Fields with your second pick or third round pick, and then it's Marvin Harrison Jr. and Justin Fields, or it's Joe Alt and Justin Fields, and is that better than Jaden Daniels and whichever tackle you get in the second round? Like, I don't know.
Just a quick aside, like, and this kind of just came to me, but like, if Pittsburgh really does consider something like credit to them, because that's what the Patriots should have done last year.
Yeah.
Instead of like, hey, we got a first round pick, and
cut bait.
Kenny, he was more down than up, but there was a little bit of positivity there, but I
Kenny
think
Pickett was better than Mac Jones the last 2 years.
Yeah. But
now I agree.
But they're still,
they're saying he's
trying
not good enough.
I'm trying to back Mike's point.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Like that's, of all the failings that we've talked about, like, why did we roll into this year if you didn't believe in any of these quarterbacks?
And I think that's what Tomlin's saying. Like, I don't, in my heart of hearts, believe in this guy. So we have to.
If you don't believe him, the team's not going to believe.
We have to explore all
Juwan
options.
Bentley's not going to believe in him if the people on the outside watching don't believe in him.
Let's go to Eldred, North Carolina. Hey, Eldred.
Hey, fellas, how y'all doing today?
All right.
Hey, Eldred.
Evan, I feel your pain because I'm feeling the same way. I was hoping Kyle would do it, but
it's been a tough couple days, Eldred.
like I said, yeah. But my thing is,
I love how much he takes.
Just puts his flat brim hat on and tries to make the best of it.
Yeah, but that time when I saw when Brady whooped Mahomes in the AFC Championship, and they was doing that trophy stuff on their field, and he was up there looking. He looked and he studied, and I'm like, darn, we're gonna have trouble out of him. But I didn't think it'd be this great, this fast. I never thought that.
Well, listen, if the Patriots hadn't gotten the ball first in overtime, Kansas City would have won that game, probably.
Oh yeah.
No way.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
But
neither team could stop the other.
No chance.
Yeah.
No chance. Turnover.
Didn't think it like that. But my best commercial was the Verizon one when Beyonce shut it down. When they said it couldn't,
She looked good. Yeah, I have to say.
Well, y'all have a good one. That's all I had to say.
All right.
Also, your target demographic.
Yeah. Let's go to John in Louisiana. Hey, John.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Yep, nothing gets by you.
Nice, Fred.
Okay. I had a question. People saying about the Patrick Mahomes and the GOAT thing. So whenever Tom Brady was kind of getting to that point, they were saying he needed to pass Joe Montana first. I wonder, from your perspective, why are people trying to put him up there with the Tom Brady stuff when they were trying to tell Tom Brady he needs to pass Joe Montana before then?
So, in other words, has Mahomes passed Joe Montana? Is that what you're saying?
I mean,
no, he's saying that he's saying that people didn't say Brady was better than Montana until he passed him, which we already proved that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But,
no, I think, I distinctly remember people starting to talk about him as the GOAT once the dynasty was established.
I think if you're asking, and this is something I think that is very worthy of debate, like the most accomplished quarterback of all time is going to be Brady. That doesn't mean he's the best. Now, I happen to think he's the best, but that doesn't mean I'm right. I don't have to be right all the time, even though I play that on TV.
Right.
I think you can watch guys, and how many times have I told you, Fred, my favorite quarterback to watch, and the guy I thought was the best, was John Elway.
Right.
He only had 2.
Right.
And he got him very late in his career.
Right.
But I saw him carry moribund teams to the Super Bowl throughout the 80s.
Yep.
By himself with an incredible set of skills. Like, I think you can have a logical argument. You don't. If it's just about who won the most, why do you need to analyze it?
Right.
There's a record book that tells you who has the most.
Right.
Why are we arguing? No, there's no argument. One guy has 7 titles. If you don't think there's anybody, why? No one else has 7.
Right.
The next closest is 4.
I feel like this.
Do you think it's because the recency bias of him winning?
I think.
What is it? 3? What is it? 3 and 5?
How about how he's played?
Yeah, like what he's doing hadn't, what Brady did had never been done. Like doing it so fast, and now Mahomes is doing it too. So I find it only natural that you start drawing these comparisons.
And Mahomes is winning titles, his first 3, the way Brady's last 3 were.
Yeah.
Like, you strap on the team on his back and let him go. Like, that's not how Brady won his first 3.
Right.
Yeah, I think that it's to Paul's point, and I think with Brady, even in his peak, like had this a little bit with Aaron Rodgers when Aaron Rodgers was winning MVPs. It's that when you watch it, it's more aesthetically impressive.
Well,
watching
you
Aaron
could make
Rodgers
an argument
run
that
around
Aaron
and
Rodgers
throw-
is a better quarterback than these other guys.
Yeah.
Now, to me, the
Yeah.
difference is I can stretch it and say, well, this guy won 5, that guy won 7, but I think the guy who won 5 is better. I have a hard time with the guy who only won 1. Same with Dan Marino.
But also remember when Mahomes came in the league, he was doing things in a way that we kind of hadn't seen yet, like the different arm angles and the slots that he was throwing and on the run and just making things happen. He was a magician. The no-look passes.
But with
and,
all the intangibles that Brady had.
Right.
Winner, clutch.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was doing everything Brady did, but also with this wild athleticism.
Yep.
And he's continuing to do it. So I have no problem people saying if he keeps on this track, he will be the greatest of all time.
And Brady's separated with his longevity.
Right.
I mean, it just sounds crazy to me right now to think, like, imagine Patrick Mahomes 2038
Thanks,
winning
John.
another title. Like just that time frame.
Let me just say
is
this.
insane. Like, it could happen, but just 15 years from now, it's
right.
I was
a
talking
long
about
time
this
away.
a little bit on Sunday. So he just won his 3rd. Yes or no? Will Patrick Mahomes win a Super Bowl in the next 10 years?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you have to think odds are that he will?
Yeah.
Brady then went 10 years without winning one.
Yeah.
Through no fault of his.
That's true.
Yep. I mean,
so, to say that, they don't deserve to have a conversation about this.
No.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that, and not to be the snooty Patriots fan, but it's like you realize how hard it is. And how, first quarter of 2008, gone for the season.
Every year between
defense is
04
terrible.
and 14, with the exception of 08 when he got hurt, they had a chance to win it all.
Yeah.
And Patrick Mahomes will, if he is healthy, as Fred said at the start of the show, they will have a chance every year as long as he is healthy.
Yep.
The question
doesn't mean he'll win them.
No.
The question is, though, and we were talking about this a little bit upstairs, Patrick Mahomes' window is 20 years, right? Like, it will be. But is that Andy Reid's window? Like, how much longer is that going to go
Probably
on for?
not.
Travis Kelce's window. So at some point,
Some are saying Kelsey might not come back next year.
their star power outside of Patrick Mahomes, they'll have to turn it over. Yeah. And Chris Jones.
I worry about Andy Reid. I don't worry about Kelsey.
Well,
he'll figure it out.
Kelsey, I don't know. But Chris Jones, he's going to
But
potentially
he's
get
going.
paid at
But
someplace
they'll
else.
get other
going.
people.
Yeah.
And
I
as long
just
as
think-
you have
I agree they
Mahomes,
will.
Yeah,
just
I
like
think
the
it's-
Patriots did.
Yeah, and he'll have a year like 06 which I kind of
Kinda
think
this
they just
one,
had,
right?
where they'll have to go on the road and upset a couple of teams, and
Yeah.
and
I
then
just
they'll
think
have
that
other
that's
years where those guys that replaced Chris Jones and Kelsey are now in their prime, and they'll be like 07.
I think that was what separated the Patriots from anything else we had ever seen, though, was that Brady won with different nucleuses.
Everything.
Yeah.
And Mahomes still hasn't. Yes, he doesn't have Tyreek Hill anymore, but he still hasn't quite had to win it with a different nucleus. I'm not saying he won't. I'm just saying, that's the longevity that Brady had.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see. Let's see.
And the other thing I would say about Mahomes, against the longevity is, will he be the same if he can no longer do what he does with his legs?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because at some point, that's going to go.
All right, Paul's Foods here, but Bridgestone is the official tire of the New England Patriots and proud partner with Sullivan Tire, New England's headquarters for quality Bridgestone tires. Visit sullivantire.com to find a location near you. We'll be right back.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
oh no,
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
As I think back over the past few seasons, I wanted to thank my most trusted game day teammate, Tostitos. As I recall the last-minute grocery runs and late-night dishwashing, the salty defeats and spicy victories, I realized it was all thanks to my teammate, Tostitos. It was always you, Tostitos. Team up with Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the New England Patriots.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like my plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get my plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get my plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
As I think back over the past few seasons, I wanted to thank my most trusted game day teammate, Tostitos. As I recall the last-minute grocery runs and late-night dishwashing, the salty defeats and spicy victories, I realized it was all thanks to my teammate, Tostitos. It was always you, Tostitos. Team up with Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the New England Patriots.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like my plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get my plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get my plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
As I think back over the past few seasons, I wanted to thank my most trusted game day teammate, Tostitos. As I recall the last-minute grocery runs and late-night dishwashing, the salty defeats and spicy victories, I realized it was all thanks to my teammate, Tostitos. It was always you, Tostitos. Team up with Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the New England Patriots.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like my plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get my plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get my plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
As I think back over the past few seasons, I wanted to thank my most trusted game day teammate, Tostitos. As I recall the last-minute grocery runs and late-night dishwashing, the salty defeats and spicy victories, I realized it was all thanks to my teammate, Tostitos. It was always you, Tostitos. Team up with Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the New England Patriots.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like my plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get my plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get my plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
As I think back over the past few seasons, I wanted to thank my most trusted game day teammate, Tostitos. As I recall the last-minute grocery runs and late-night dishwashing, the salty defeats and spicy victories, I realized it was all thanks to my teammate, Tostitos. It was always you, Tostitos. Team up with Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the New England Patriots.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like my plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get my plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get my plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
As I think back over the past few seasons, I wanted to thank my most trusted game day teammate, Tostitos. As I recall the last-minute grocery runs and late-night dishwashing, the salty defeats and spicy victories, I realized it was all thanks to my teammate, Tostitos. It was always you, Tostitos. Team up with Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the New England Patriots.
And now, great moments in history.
Back in the day when Eric was still a meat eater,
right?
We went to Arthur's and he wanted to get a steak well done, and I objected.
He did.
Right.
I objected.
He voiced an opposition.
And that's ridiculous.
Yes.
Told the server, said, "Don't you dare!
Yeah.
Don't you dare bring him a cooked steak."
About 5 minutes later.
He doesn't need a good cut, is what I'm saying. You don't need to waste the money on someone who's going to have it well done.
Just give him a hoof. It's a waste of money because you don't like it cooked that
it'll
way.
taste the same, is what I'm saying. He won't even know the difference.
Of course you know the difference between cuts of meat.
Not when you do it well done. Not when you cook it well done.
Just give him a hoof.
It loses all its flavor.
The wing.
It loses all its flavor. All you taste is the charbroil.
It's a sin, Ma.
That's another great moment from
All right, back here in Patriots Unfiltered.
Deuce. Give him a hoof.
855-PASS-500.
You could not be more right about that.
It's the Ace Ticket Hotline. Just want to remind people, we talked about it at the top of the show this Friday, Patriots Dynasty, The Dynasty, Apple TV Plus dropping the first 2 episodes, and we will be dropping our first episode of the wrap-up show. And what's the name? It's Patriots Dynasty
documentary
recap
show.
Yeah,
starring members of.
So we'll be
listen. Don't mock what you don't know.
So we'll be wrapping up every episode for the next 5 weeks because Apple's dropping 2 episodes a week, and so we'll be doing the same. Only 1 episode.
Can I do a little tease? Just a little tease.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give anything away, but I found it interesting. This isn't just like, and here was 2001's championship season, and here was It's much more back and forth, and
there's more storytelling.
Yeah, there's
and,
not. It's not divided up just like, and then they won that championship. You know, it's
right.
a lot more back and forth, and some things are combined. So it's just, it's a unique look. And I mean, the way I said it was, as a Patriots fan and somebody who lived through it, I would frame it a certain way, but Apple and these producers and the book, and they're going to frame it a different way, and that's, you know, it's an external kind of perspective on the dynasty, which I think is
and we were
valuable.
talking about it during the break. You know, whether it's the interviews that were done, you know, for this or some of the footage, there's a lot of stuff you've never seen before or heard.
Yep.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Because, you know, think about it. We produced a lot of content. The 3 Games to Glories, the America's Teams, you know, all the stuff that we do on a daily basis. But believe it or not, there's a lot of stuff that you've never seen that you're going to see in this thing.
Like some of my general just favorite parts of it is just kind of the wide B-roll of, you know, here they are in the locker room. And, you know, you see everybody, and you know that they're in the middle of this crazy run, whatever, episode or scene it was. But, it's just like kind of those little moments where you're looking in at history and they don't really realize at that time that there's any history going on. You don't realize that, oh, these are 3 Hall of Famers right here. Those kind of things were cool. That like all that extra footage that all of a sudden is dug up. It's the best
good
part.
stuff. So I can't wait for that on Friday. All right, 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Phones continue to ring. We'll go to Ethan in Western. Oh, I just knocked off Ethan.
I saw you.
I had the cursor over the wrong thing.
I was like, and then it was too
Ethan, call back, Western Connecticut. We'll get you right back on. Sean in Connecticut.
Rate supply.
Western Kentucky, not Connecticut. Sean's in Connecticut. What's up, Sean?
Hi.
Hi, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
So the way I see it is that the Bears are going to get Caleb Williams because there's no upside to keeping Fields.
Yeah.
And then the Commanders probably get Drake May.
Yep.
Now the Pats have 4 options. And
4?
Picking Jane Daniels, Marvin Harrison Jr., Joe Alt, or trading down. I think that getting like a possible generational talent in Harrison Alt is better than the 3rd quarterback who isn't really a scheme fit. But this is a deep class in wide receiver and tackle. So trading down to 8-ish and picking maybe like the 2nd or 3rd wide receiver and tackle.
Yeah.
Hopefully 2nd.
Yeah.
Like pulling a Bears and getting a lot of picks. Like getting a lot of picks from a downward trending team is probably my best scenario.
Yeah.
Okay. You got it well thought out. That's awesome, Sean.
No school today, Sean?
He
I thought it was like
Evan. Don't even lie and tell me you didn't have a tear in your eye.
I'm like, is this Evan from the 90s?
I was like,
in?
wait a second.
That was 12-year-old
Evan.
Evan.
Laid it out,
that
though,
was,
man.
That was
he
me.
nailed it. He nailed
and,
it.
You're at the bar and you're telling these adults that they're wrong, and then I gotta go
Who
get
is
them.
this
you
kid?
know.
I got to go call into a show.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Nice job, though. That was. I think he's.
I mean, I
think he's right.
I think he
I
mapped
he
out
kinda laid it out.
4 options, right?
I
think he mapped it out.
It's a little intriguing just if they could trade down to like 6, or just a couple spots. Like still get Alt or Fashawn, get one of these guys still in there.
Malik
but pick
Nabbers.
Nabbers is. I heard he's really good.
God.
Yeah, we were kind of. Fanning out over
That
Nabbers.
guy's got the goods.
Neighbors, don't worry, don't at me. We know it's Neighbors.
It's an inside joke, everybody.
They'll still at you.
But even like Daniels, do you think Daniels? Is there any world that Daniels you could get Daniels at like 6, 7?
It's interesting
8?
because reading a lot of these like big boards that are coming out, Daniel Jeremiah, Dane Brugler, they all have Daniels 8.
Yeah.
In that like 5 to 10 range, but he's a quarterback.
Right.
So that's going to prop him up. But, Justin Fields went 10, and I don't think anybody really thought he would fall that
If there's
far.
no trades, he could go 8.
Yeah.
But if someone's going to trade with you,
they're going for that.
They're trading for that.
I think it just kind of shows that there's so much process in a lot of ways still to go, where like a lot of those guys – that do end up slipping a little bit slip because of what happens now, where, the interviews and the combine and like pro days and like all that kind of stuff. The film's the film. Like that's already established and out
now
there.
It's answering questions
But,
wrong.
right,
Your arm is too short. Your wrists are really
exactly.
small.
The only thing, and Sean that was an excellent call, Sean.
It was.
But, he says you're not going to take Daniels because he's not a scheme fit. Well, that's if Alex Van Pelt is going to do the same offense that he's done in the past. But if you love Jaden Daniels, you're going to change your scheme.
Yeah.
I'm so nervous to become
And
the
I
Chicago
want a different
Bears.
guy.
Yeah.
Like
now I'm back to Matt Patricia.
No, but if you think this guy is going to be great, then adjust your scheme.
Yeah.
If he's going to be great, then he's probably going to be good no matter what scheme. Really, at the end of the day,
you want to play to his strengths.
But I think the problem with Daniels, and this is what I would say what the Bears did wrong, is that I think Daniels needs to be in a watered down offense to start, and then slowly build up to something more complex and sophisticated down the road. Whereas the Bears just took Justin Fields and they didn't highlight his mobility. They didn't put him in an option spread.
Except for the game here.
Yeah. They didn't do any of those types of things, and they just tried to turn him into like a traditional
Who's
passer.
better coming out, Lamar Jackson or Jaden Daniels?
Jaden Daniels. But better in the respect that he's further along as a passer than Lamar Jackson was, but because we're half a decade removed from Lamar Jackson. Like they've evolved, how they develop these guys and how you use these guys. Lamar was definitely a better runner. Like Lamar is the best runner I've ever seen in college. So he was definitely
better than Michael Vick.
Yes, he was definitely better as a runner, but Jaden Daniels is definitely better as a passer.
Okay.
Now, I just don't like the idea of making Alex Van Pelt implement a system that he doesn't know. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Do what you do, and that's why you hired him.
I think
right?
that Jaden Daniels, I mean, if he can't play in a facsimile of the West Coast offense, then I don't want him. Because that's kind of like what the principles of virtually every system has now. So if you just look at him and say, well, he can't do that. Now, I don't think he can't. Before the guy from New York, right? I forget his name.
Arthur?
Arthur.
Arturo.
Yeah, I think he can do some of these things. I don't think you'll have to do this. I'm saying if you decide Jaden Daniels isn't a fit for way Alex Van Pelt, I don't want Alex Van Pelt implementing a system he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Or isn't comfortable with at the very least. Maybe he knows it, but...
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a point where Jaden Daniels could be able to execute like what has been the core concepts of the Alex Van Pelt offense.
Yeah.
I just think right out of the gate, if you're going to play him right away, going back to that whole thing, then it's better to put him in a Lamar Jackson-ish, maybe little Philadelphia Eagles-ish type of offense that is a little bit more quarterback run heavy and a little bit more simplified in the passing game. And that's going to be what's best for his development.
Right. And that's where you're catering some stuff to his skills, Fred.
Yeah.
To get your world, your best of both worlds.
Now, one more draft thing too is like the existence of Neighbors and Adunze kind of makes it hard to think that any team's really going to want to come up to 3 for Harrison. There's probably teams that, you know what I mean? Like they're going to be like, we're fine. Like it's tough. It's
if you make a move up from like 8 to 3, I got to think you're one of those teams like the Falcons or the Vikings
the QB
that looks for a quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm just using 8.
Same thing with the tackles too. Nobody's probably going to trade up to get alt. They're going to sit and wait,
Yeah, you look at the Neighbors is definitely starting to get some traction of how big is that gap really between him and Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah. There's no doubt that Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best, most well-rounded, complete prospect.
I told you I read that thing on the Senior Bowl recap kind of thing where there were a couple of guys that said personnel people, some of them have Neighbors ahead of Harrison. I'm not telling you they're right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if Harrison is this once a generational player, then there's nobody in the NFL who thinks that another guy is the better receiver.
Yeah. Well, Dane Brugler put out his top guys, and he has Harrison and Neighbors 2-3 in the draft. 2-3 above a May.
I just think it depends on what you want. We were also talking about this before. Neighbors has a superpower. Like his speed and his acceleration is a superpower. Yeah. I don't know if Marvin Harrison Jr. necessarily has an elite trait that's on that level, but he's just a more complete, well-rounded receiver. He does more things well.
Just general athleticism.
Yeah.
Ethan in Western Kentucky called back. I'm sorry about that, Ethan. What's up?
Kentucky.
It's all right, Paul. Just buy me tickets to the season opener, and we'll call it even.
Okay. Well, sorry.
But
you still owe me. I still owe you.
Probably be available. Rookie quarterback, sit him, start him type deal. I think this might be a hot take, but it's the most situational position in the league. If you put a kid on this roster that we have right now, you're thrown into the wolves, and you guys know that. Everybody knows that. Unless you can find a great one. And in my opinion, there's like great one. I'm talking Brady, Mahomes. Y'all touched on Elway earlier. But newsflash, you're not going to be able to find that in the draft unless you just hit a diamond in the rough.
What if you drafted C.J. Stroud last year at 2?
He might be a great one. I mean, it's too early to tell, but on top of that, though, they got a way better roster than we do. There's more weapons there. They got a better defense, and they weren't, in my opinion, as bad coming into that draft as we are. But regardless of the point is –
disagree.
Or regardless of whatever, I'm all over the place. But if you don't have somebody like Mahomes or someone like Brady, you're not going to be able to go toe-to-toe with Mahomes. So as far as finding a quarterback in free agency – or waiting around to the second or third round. Not to say that Drake May, Caleb Williams are those guys, but in my opinion, you just can't let it go, the boat float down the river. You have to get somebody that in your head can carry a bad roster, go toe-to-toe with Mahomes or toe-to-toe with whoever it is, and win football games that matter.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, then it's hopeless because I mean,
It is hopeless.
you're not going to
you're
find
finding
somebody
up
that in the foreseeable
We're
future.
Patriots.com. We can't say things.
No, I
like
know,
that.
but what I'm saying is, if that's the criteria,
I know what you're saying.
We're in a tough spot because you're not going to find a quarterback that can go toe for.
But that's the thing. Is
You're going to have.
you have to find this guy.
Yeah,
to compete.
I mean,
It's
San
hard,
Francisco
and you're
was
gonna end up losing.
Yeah, San Francisco was an eyelash away from winning that game. So you don't have to have
at the end of the day, they didn't have that guy.
No, I
They
understand.
have a guy that can step up and say
But
that
it's
I'm
not.
going.
Okay, but let's not overreact the other way now, and it's like it's hopeless.
Thanks,
like
Ethan.
it's unwinnable. Like
Right.
the game was winnable for San Francisco.
Right.
Like like nobody's snarkier than me, as we all know. I love to take shots at your boy Shanahan. Shanahan built a team that was every bit as capable of winning those 2 Super Bowls that he lost to Mahomes. They easily could have won both games. They didn't just lose because Mahomes is that great. Like I'm not dismissing that part, but don't tell me that you don't have a chance to win.
Right, because if that's the case,
You do
then
have a
Mahomes
chance
will
to
win every year.
Right.
Just
like Brady would have won 23 instead
Right.
of only 6
But I think
when he was with the Patriots.
The part that I think dies with Kyle Shanahan a little bit is this idea that you can build the roster up around the mediocre quarterback and still be good enough. Like I think the Niners are as close as you could possibly be to that. Like they are basically 100% there of a loaded roster with a good enough quarterback that he's not.
Was it QB neutral? Or
I don't like using that.
That's the bartender
I
served
don't do
that
that
one
one.
Yeah.
But they're the closest thing to it, and it still wasn't enough. So like, if that's your approach, if that's your idea, is that we're going to be the Niners and we're going to have this stacked roster. Now maybe you get the clutch moments and maybe you get the bounces and it puts you over the top.
But what if you have a quarterback who's a little bit better than Purdy?
No, well, I would argue that.
Then we're in a separate category.
And you know that I am not a big fan of. Oh, just do what San Francisco did. Like you can just snap your fingers and draft 7 All-Pros over a span of 4 years. But let's just say that I'm not a big fan of that theory. Okay. But if I'm Alex, and I know like the last thing he said on your Catch 22 last week was, I'm rooting for my take. I'm rooting for I want to show that you can win with a QB neutral. Is that what he called it?
Something like that.
Something like
net
that.
Neutral quarterback.
Net neutral quarterback.
Net neutral.
Okay.
You're welcome.
If I were Alex, not because I'm trying to be stubborn, but I would say, well, I haven't been proven wrong. Like that game. No, seriously. Like
you could have won that game.
I disagree with Alex. You guys all know how I stand on this, but I'm just saying if I was on the other side, nothing that happened Sunday would tell me I was wrong.
Right.
The game's in overtime. Like anybody can win it. I understand what happened. I understand Mahomes' greatness won out. But don't tell me that they didn't have a chance to win that game if they didn't play better.
You had the dagger over the vampire's chest, and you just didn't put it in.
But that's the point to play devil's advocate is just that you're not going to get a better roster than the Niners. Like it's pretty
again.
impossible
You know where
to
I
do
stand
that.
on this theory. Like there was a couple of teams that did it that way. I think the Eagles largely did it that way. They plugged the quarterback into a really good roster. I think you can do it. I think it's way harder to do that than it is to do what Kansas City did.
I'm just saying if in order to win, you have to have a quarterback who's as good as Patrick Mahomes, then that's it.
That's it. There's like 3 teams that could possibly compete with them, and we'll see what happens.
Right.
But from like a Patriots perspective, does it make you, kind of focus on a philosophy of just take the quarterback? You got to just keep taking the quarterback in the first round until you hit on it, because everything else doesn't really matter. I mean, as much as we want to say they got to get a left tackle,
only if you believe in it, though. You can't just chase it like that.
But do you think
like
that there's ever a time
like taking
when,
Kenny Pickett? Like if the Patriots were taking 3 that year, would you take Kenny Pickett at 3?
No, because of his gloves.
well done right there.
I mean,
no, I mean,
but I totally.
A lot of people
I get what you're
think
saying.
next year is shaping up to a Kenny Pickett year.
Yep.
You know, maybe Shedeur Sanders, maybe Quinn Ewers, but I don't look at those guys as being anywhere near Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels.
Well, that's the scuttlebutt, though, is that the next year's
someone will come out of nowhere.
Right.
But the
2
league
guys will
doesn't
have
like
great
it.
seasons, and it'll just put
The
them
league
at the
doesn't
top of the
the
draft.
league does not like the 2025 quarterback class. That's the scuttlebutt.
But they will after this season if they have good
There'll be
years.
a couple, maybe.
I mean, a guy like Jaden Daniels was not considered a top 5 pick.
Joe
in this
Burrow
draft.
wasn't either.
No.
And then he had
Baker
that great
Mayfield,
year.
Joe Burrow was not anywhere near the number 1 overall pick.
Right.
I agree with you, but people thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, but he really proved it that last year at LSU.
Yeah, you're
But
absolutely
Jaden
right.
Daniels is the poster child for, he's probably like a mid day 2 pick if he, came out last year. And this year now he could be the second overall pick in the draft.
Someone will do that. Someone will come out of nowhere.
Yeah, happens every year.
I mean, isn't Anthony Richardson the same way? I mean,
no, because he actually didn't play very well.
Oh, that's right. It's the other way around.
Lots of tools.
Yeah.
He got drafted on his tools.
As my boy Evans likes to say, he's toolsy.
Toolsy.
I like toolsy.
But you look at the 3 positions that they need, and it's like there's always a bunch of wide receivers. Like, I mean, there's wide receivers into round 3 that you're like, oh, I like this guy.
I mean, I was watching
tackles are
Texas
tackles
today, and A.D. Mitchell and Xavier Worthy, the 2 Texas receivers, are next up on my list. Those guys can both play, and they're going to be like early.
I like Worthy.
They're going to be like early day 2 picks.
So I guess it's not so much, Paul, you kind of expanded it out to, generally like if you're at 19 and you got to take Kenny Pickett, but just specifically for the Patriots where it's, if you took from just this Super Bowl, it's kind of like just draft Daniels. Like, I mean, he's got the skills. Maybe he's got some holes, and maybe he got some schematic
I've gotten
issues.
there, I think, that if any of those 3 are
but he's
available,
the kind of guy
I
you
would
could
take
miss
one
Yeah.
of those 3.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I've kind of gotten there. Maybe I'll get browbeaten by, is it Arthur?
Yeah.
Yeah.
About Jaden.
Yeah, about Daniels, I'm sort of coming more around. I still think May would be the better choice, but
it's just like, I mean, I think the thing with me is like, at the end of the day, Daniels is still going to be lightning fast and a super athlete and decent size. I mean, he's skinny, but
he's tall but thin.
But he's got enough height that you're not going to look at him out there and be like, why is there a munchkin in the pocket? That's kind of like how I feel with Kyler Murray sometimes.
I was
like,
about
so
to say you're throwing shorts.
But
I'm with you though.
You're a heightist.
I'm heightist in this draft when it comes to these quarterbacks. Like I look at a guy like Bo Nix or like Spencer Rattler who had a really good week down in. He's 6 feet, 6'1". I'm out.
Well,
like,
even Purdy on Sunday, I mean, had 2 or 3 balls batted down. If he's 3 inches taller, he gets that ball over that hand. Yeah. It does make a difference.
It's because he tucks his shirt in too far.
Jeff in Canada, I want to get a couple emails in here. Don't lay blame on Shanahan for the decision to start OT. It was the first time in league history someone has had to make that decision. Of course, when you know the outcome, it's easy to say he's wrong.
Yeah, I didn't know the outcome.
However,
when I said he was wrong.
Up to that point, the Chiefs had only scored 1 touchdown, and that was on the punt mishap. If there was one play that I think the 49ers would really like a redo on, it would be the 3rd and 4 at the 2-minute warning. You run it there, and worst case, it's 4th down, but at least the Chiefs have to burn a timeout. Best case, you get the 1st down and get to burn the clock below 30 seconds, and the Chiefs would have no timeouts.
Mike, listen.
Shanahan struggles in big games, yet everyone wants the Shanahan tree coach. Why is there never talk about the Andy Reid tree? He only seems to shine in big games. Maybe it's the same tree. Evan, Purdy gave his team the lead 4 times in that game.
Yeah, I would agree, by the way, of his second guess of the play call at the end there. Like, I think that's a good call. I disagree with him just blowing off. I don't think it took, like, in-depth research to say, I think I would rather know what I need. There's a reason in the college overtime that the team that always chooses to go second. There's a reason for it, and it's obvious. You get an extra down.
Yeah.
You know what you need, and you therefore have 4 downs to work with.
I also just love how Andy Reid now all of a sudden is a big game coach. We just completely forgot.
So I have this is going to be funny to you guys.
Why would you take the Reid tree? He's
another
a big
epiphany.
game coach. Oh, really?
He was one of the worst clock management guys ever in Philadelphia. Horrible. Okay, now everybody says, well, he's got Mahomes now, so that's how. Might he have always been pretty good at it?
Or maybe
and
he
the
got
guy
better.
he had was terrible at it, who was throwing up in the huddle in the Super Bowl.
It's not ideal.
Like, I think the fact that he dragged that guy to 5 conference championship games, including 4 in a row, is an amazing accomplishment. Amazing. It's like Rex Ryan did it with Mark Sanchez twice, and people were like, he did it 5 times with Donovan McNabb. Randy Reid's a pretty good coach.
This is why I like the clock management stuff. I know this is your side of the street, Paul, so I'm not trying to come at you.
Paul Perillo,
Because at the end of the day, if the players on the field decide the game, okay, like
I couldn't agree more.
All these like if they ran the play at
he don't believe
at 2:02 instead of at 2 in this and and that's why I just can't. It drives me nuts. Like, it's like, okay, like your clock management school, I'm sorry, at the end of the day, this guy made a play and that guy didn't.
Well,
and that's why they won the game.
It's the old saying that coaches can only lose you games.
There are certain situations, like Dan Campbell in the NFC Championship game, abhorrent, right? Like just horrible. But this Super Bowl wasn't like that.
I don't think it was like that. I do agree with his synopsis there, though, because I think that the best path for San Francisco winning the game, I think, was in regulation, melting the clock and kicking a game-winning field goal. And I don't think they were thinking of it that way.
Yeah. Ben in the truck writes in, amidst all this scuttlebutt about Mahomes and the GOAT conversation, I'd like to take a moment to remind everyone that Andy called Mahomes a soccer player multiple times during that year's draft show.
Golf clap.
Yeah.
Soccer player.
Well done. Oh, yeah.
Where did he come up with that?
He saw.
Did he fall and fake an injury?
Where do we do this?
Right.
The combine guy.
Yeah.
We watch guys at the podium, and Andy used to just make these blanket assumptions.
Because he had the hair, I think. Yeah.
No, he was kind of small. He was like, he looks like a soccer player.
No, just look.
Which, who knew at the time, meant he's an immense athlete. He could probably play anything.
Yeah. He's not even in great shape, honestly. He got a dad bod. He's running around there.
Represent.
Ken's in New Jersey. What's up, Ken? Hey, Ken. Kenny. Ken in Jersey.
You see the clip on
right.
like a TikTok clip or something. Some guy that does a great Mahomes impersonation.
Oh,
he goes through the whole thing. Is like, we had everything. And really, it was everyone. We couldn't have done it without any of these guys. Well, maybe except for Kadarius.
Logan's in New York. What's up, Logan? I thought it was in Boston.
So my question is, I think that Penix is worthy of being around the top 10 pick because
what's his name?
Penix. Leave
him alone.
Oh, Penix.
Penix. Yeah. I didn't want to.
Yeah, I think he's worthy of being a really good pick, and if he slides down to the late first round, the second round, we got to get him. And I would consider taking Marvin 4 and Penix later, just because they complement each other so well.
Okay.
With a deep ball receiver and a great X that can beat 101.
So Marvin at 3, because the Patriots have the 3rd pick. So you take Marvin at 3.
You starting a school for children?
And then you take Penix later.
When I was sick, I actually started this.
No school in New York today either.
Thanks, Logan.
Thanks, Logan.
Man, I think they're all in school.
We got
I think
all
that's
these
what
kids.
it is.
The kids, they know the game these days. They're calling it.
Look, I agree with Penix can play. We all know Penix can play, and I don't think the championship game, like Michigan's defense just dominated in it. I don't really hold that much against him, and I love his moxie. Like I think he's got a great makeup and mental toughness.
He's a winner,
and I think that's important. But it's going to come down to what we see in a couple weeks. Like what does shoulders and knees look like, man? If it's bone on bone, then it's going to be a day 2 pick, like all day.
I think what we're seeing though is Evans Army is coming.
This is the junior Lazarmi.
They just got their iPhones, and so they're all
they don't have school today. Usually we're on when they're in school.
Yeah, Evans Army.
I appreciate it. Good job, everybody.
Let's go to Willem and Phillum. What's up, William?
Hey, Fred. How you doing?
All right.
Okay. Question for matter of fact, not even a question. Hey, Evan, have you seen Alex Barnes? His mock draft and whatnot.
Oh God, how could you not see it? He's reposted it 17 times. I mean,
just choose to ignore it. I haven't seen it.
I haven't either.
I love it, man. I wouldn't change a thing on there. I mean, he moved around. He made some moves, but he got the tight end. He addressed the quarterback, the wide receiver. I was fine with it.
Oh, it was a 7-round mock?
Oh, Patriots 7-round mock draft.
Those are my favorites.
Yeah. I think he had 3 trades.
My favorites of the 7-round mocks where I've heard of all 7 guys that they have.
7-round mock equals I have a lot of time on my hands.
No, but I love the guys. It's like I'm going to take Harrison Jr. at 3, and then Jaden Daniels will probably slip to 34. I'll take him at in the 2nd round. Like all 7 guys they take are guys that are household names. I'm like, it's amazing. No one else thought any of those players were good.
I will give him this. I did like his mock draft. I thought it was good. I love the idea of Jatavian Sanders and somebody like Roman Wilson together on day 2. It's tough to do though. You gotta get that trade that Alex pulled off on day 2 to make that.
You gotta hope all the other teams don't know all the good players.
I mean, that's what Alex is known for, pulling off fake trades.
I know. I'm way ahead.
He's the Bill Simmons of trades and mock drafts. Like that's all he's doing.
Wait, can you give me a run? Who was his first couple picks?
It was.
We already know he's not do it.
Drake May, Jatavian Sanders, Roman Wilson, and he really likes that Patrick Paul, the tackle from Houston.
Yeah.
So those are he traded down in the second round to add a pick.
Well, I have to apologize. Patrick Paul, not a name I was familiar with.
So that's how he did it.
Choose
But
not.
we were
I choose
talking
not to be
about
familiar with
this
that
earlier, and Deuce and I are going to have mock drafts.
Yeah.
First of all, it's a little
14
it's a little early for me for the mock drafts.
Yeah.
I've decided that because like without free agency, there's just so many holes, and it's like how do you plug? You only have 7 picks, so like how do you kind of go about this? There's too many holes. But the tight end class this year, which is a need for the Patriots, especially if they're going to run this Van Pelt offense, it's not a great tight end class, and it's a difficult spot to find a guy in the draft to make. And Jatavian Sanders is probably the best because he is going to go early day 2. But
Last year was a great class, right?
Good class.
So this is another one of those. No. We're not going to take it in the year that there's a lot of. We're going to wait a year.
Yeah, until there's none.
Like they did it. They did that at wide receiver a few years back.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing the free agency previews. I do offense, does defense, and I was writing the tight ends one last night, and I'm just thinking to myself, like them passing on that class last year just
could really
killed
use Sam
them.
Laporta.
It killed them, like because
Can I
they.
get one more question?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, and then I'm out of the way. As far as this. Just no, it's so much pushback on Drake May. Is he that bad?
Well, I mean, there's a person, Christian, and from North Carolina, and he says, again, he's from North Carolina, how a lot of us have been watching May since high school and even went to my local high school, so we have seen a lot more of him than most people. He thinks he's no good.
No good.
No good.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody
Take
else
care,
is
Jim.
capable
Thanks, William.
of watching Drake May except people from North Carolina. If
That-
you didn't
that
go
watch
to
the
that,
games live.
if you're not from that state, then why bother even having an opinion?
I
on
just would ask. Listen, I'm not an expert. I fully admit, but I just don't know how you can watch a game and think a guy is good that everybody else, not everybody else, that someone else watches the game and say he stinks.
No,
like
I don't know,
I don't.
Going back to our conversation,
Because
no
he's
matter
tall and he has a good arm.
Well, I mean, no matter how good or bad you think he is, like he's gonna go in the top 5 picks, no question. And he's the kind of guy it's worth taking a miss on. Like he's somebody. If you drafted him at 3 and it didn't work out,
then why does that happen with Caleb Williams?
Why?
Some people watch him play and they think he's great, and some people watch him play and they're like, I don't know, he can't play.
But that's a total
He's not
different
tall.
thing. I know he's not tall.
So like, what's the idea?
I don't know.
He's a great athlete.
I don't know who's watching Caleb Williams and thinks he can't play.
Well, I don't know if you know, but he cried.
I mean, that's different. I'm just saying, like, what he's actually putting on film. I don't know how he
Did you see how much better they were in the bowl game when he didn't play?
Have you gone
Evan,
to
what's the matter with you?
Have you gone to
Well,
the
I'm not from
Felge
North
on this because he
Carolina,
brings
so-
that up like not joking, like
they will not take him because he cried after the Utah game.
No, but I think Felger honestly doesn't want to take him.
No.
Because of that.
Not just because of that.
Mike,
Yeah. That's what it sounds
that's
like.
his reasoning.
There's other things.
He's soft. That's his reasoning.
Well, he talks about all the other things, that have
Nothing
come
to
up.
do with football.
Right. That's true.
Well, that's because he doesn't know how to watch the football.
There
Correct.
it is.
Because
I mean,
you
I'm
can't
just being
spell
honest.
USC if you spot out
Probably
the U and
watching
the
the
S.
ball during the game.
So
idiot.
you can't like Drake May if you're not from North Carolina. You just don't know what you're talking about. And you
Well, they
can-
were from. They didn't
and
like
you-
him being from North.
That's what he's
and you
saying.
can- and
you
you
have
can-
to be from North Carolina to not like him.
And you can only have if you like Caleb Williams, then you have to hate him because he cried. Like that. Those are that's where we're
So
at.
it's Jaden Daniels.
There it is.
The only option.
There we go. He's too skinny. But.
Let's go to Matt in Virginia Beach. What's up, Matt?
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody.
Hey.
Thanks, Matt.
Just a lingering thought that I had from the Super Bowl is that if you don't have the quarterback, you don't have a chance. The 49ers defense dictated all game how the Chiefs were going to play offense, and the 49ers offense couldn't deliver the kill shot. Brock Purdy had opportunity after opportunity to put the game away and couldn't do it. Mac Jones wouldn't be able to do it. Bailey Zappi wouldn't be able to do it. I used to be of the opinion that maybe trading down in the draft would be the best way to go, but hot dang, I am all in on a quarterback now, and I'm all for Drake May. I think Drake May has the body to withstand New England weather. He's got the arm strength to withstand New England weather and how the games are played
See
up
what
in
his hand
Foxborough.
size is in a couple of weeks.
And I'm all for doing whatever we need to do to get Drake May on our team.
All right, Drake May. All
so
right.
one
Thanks,
anti-Drake May and a
but he's not
Pro-Drake
from
May.
North Carolina.
Correct.
So
if
he
you're
doesn't know
from
what he's
there, you
talking
know that he
about.
can't play.
Did he watch every game
I just would
live?
push back really slightly. Like, you don't have a chance. So the Niners didn't have a chance to win on Sunday. And the Niners defense was so dominant that they allowed 460 yards of offense. Like, come on. Like, it was a good game. It went back and forth. I mean, there's a difference between blowing a 10-point lead, like, with 5 minutes left in the game or with 8 minutes left in the game like they did against the Chiefs the first time. They were up 10-0 in the second quarter. Like, they didn't blow a lead. Like, you don't even, like, this, I understand it goes down. Yes, it was a good back-and-forth game.
Yeah.
And, you know, for all the ineptitude that Shanahan had on offense, the caller that, or the emailer that wrote in a little while ago was right. The last 3 or 4 times that the Chiefs got the ball, they scored. So did the Niners. Yeah. They were losing late in the game. They had to go down and score.
Right.
Then it was tied. They had to go down and score. Then it was tied again. They had to go down and score. They kept scoring.
Yeah, and I remember saying early in the second half, if the 49ers defense can't pitch a shutout from here, it's over. And that wasn't the case, but they kept in the game. So Paul's, like, 49ers kept up.
And I think, listen, do I think that Brock Purdy played a great game? No. I think he played better than he did in the previous 2 playoff games.
I agree with that.
But
that was his best game of the playoffs.
Yeah, and I don't think he was great, but
he was under siege.
He really was under a ton of pressure in the second half. I think that one of your stats, Evan. I'm going to use that as Paul's shows. Evan's stats indicated that he was under the most pressure that he's ever been under in a game, technically, percentage wise.
A lot of zero blitzes.
50% in the second half.
That's a lot of percent.
So I thought, considering the stakes and the circumstances, I thought he played pretty well. He almost threw a pick on the first play of overtime that hit Deebo Samuel. I know he was injured. Right in the hands, and he dropped it.
I gotta say, I love Deebo Samuel.
And
some of these playoff runs are
No.
not very good for him.
No.
He had a bad drop earlier in the game.
He was invisible in that game. He didn't have anything.
I know.
Yeah.
Max writes in from Santa Barbara, please stop with the ass kicking of Mahomes. Ass kissing, I should say, of Mahomes.
And we're back.
Please, I'd like to ask you experts this. Instead of kicking the field goal in overtime, wouldn't it have been better to give it to McCaffrey? The chances of him stopping him for no gain, again, I think was slim. If he doesn't
he needed 4 yards, so no gain wouldn't have done anything.
If he doesn't get in, he may gain 2 or 3 yards. So now the quiffies, is that what he's calling? I don't know what quiffies means. Have to go 60 yards or so to field goal range, starting at, say, the 2 or 3 rather than starting at the 25 and needing to only go 45 yards to the field goal.
Right. There's the argument of the go for it on 4th down because they have
longer
to drive the long field.
I would make the argument only because that's what he did earlier in the game.
Yeah.
Why the inconsistency?
Get Mayfield as a free agent, draft a big, fast receiver who can catch, get a tackle, and draft a quarterback in the 2nd or 3rd round. We'll most likely have a top 5 pick again anyway in 2025. Love the show. Listening since.
Then what's the point of the Baker Mayfield? If you're going to have a top 5 pick, if he's not going to make you a relevant team, then why are we signing Baker Mayfield?
I think because you're not drafting a quarterback to the 2nd or 3rd round.
Right. So sign a guy like Jacoby Brissett for a quarter of the price and let him do what Baker Mayfield does.
Big, fast receiver.
Boom, prosper. I think the one thing we should probably just remind the NFL right now, probably make them feel a little better, is that Brady lost to Eli Manning twice in the Super Bowl. So it's not impossible.
That makes you feel better.
Well, for the NFL, we're going to just lose to Patrick Mahomes
And by the way, he starts off by saying, "Can we stop with the ass kicking?"
Ass kissing.
I mean kissing.
Kiss.
Because if they had just gone for it on the 4th down, so that means Mahomes wouldn't have scored.
Probably would have.
Right.
Like you said, nothing about Mahomes not doing what
we are kind of kissing Mahomes' ass, but I think he deserves it.
What are we supposed to say? Actually, he stinks.
Right.
It
was fine, I guess.
I just happen to think he just dragged a very average team to a Super Bowl.
Chatty Cathy writes in, did you
Kinda
see
like
that
the
Taylor
Patriots.
Swift had Kanye West removed from the Super Bowl? I didn't see that. Is that true?
I don't think that
Power
happened.
flex.
Also, what was up with her and Goodell? Looked like they were having a heated conversation. I didn't see that either.
They were talking.
Yeah, I didn't see it as being heated.
I don't know.
I think he should be thanking her for bringing in new revenue to the league, right?
How many articles I saw over the weekend of son, father and daughter.
That was ridiculous.
Like I don't care. I don't care either way.
It's allegedly.
Oh God, it's just. It's
been
crazy.
accused of it, according to TMZ.
What's that? Her having Kanye West kicked out?
Apparently intended to upstage Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl, but the pop star had ideas of her own.
I would assume that Kanye got himself kicked out.
Yeah,
of
but
the Super Bowl.
those stories about how Taylor is bringing fathers and daughters together.
Yeah.
I mean, that's come on.
that is
enough.
so wrong.
Enough.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. I'm not sure about that.
I'll tell you, the best part of this one, at least
More
all the
fans.
all the shots of the suite for the Super Bowl involved Blake Lively. So
I know.
So I was in.
As soon as I saw her, I was like, Paul's going to be fun.
She was dressed like she was straight out of. She was right out of the town. She wore like the town outfit. She had on like a windsuit and the whole thing. No,
what's your point?
I thought she was a terrible actress in that movie.
I don't care. Was she acting?
Look at you coming in here to my bar right now.
Matt in Framingham.
We didn't spend nearly enough time on that.
I have a developing opinion on the game last Sunday. We can debate the overtime and what Shanahan deciding or the nerds and all that stuff. The 49ers had a chance to extend the lead early in the second half after Mahomes threw the interception setting up a short field for the 49ers up by 7, and when they went backwards and forced to punt, that was the moment where the 49ers became tighter than the rope you used to climb in gym class.
Except they went down the field multiple times in the fourth quarter and overtime. But tight.
While losing once.
Very tight.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can't just score every time you get the ball. Like, Mahomes threw a pick on that drive, right? To set that up. Like, they didn't score on that drive.
Got 2 calls from North Carolina, though. I'm tempted to.
Oh, boy.
All right, let's
see how they
Lazard.
Well,
how they weigh in.
Well, I don't know.
I don't think Todd's into this, but we'll see. Todd's in North Carolina.
Todd, what's your opinion?
Todd,
You're
what are you
from North
into?
Carolina.
What's my opinion on what, guys?
Drake May? Yes or no?
Saw him play. I got taken by my brother-in-law to the game, and not bad.
Geez.
I only saw one game. Don't have much of opinion.
But at
I
least
just
you
think
saw a game. Yeah.
The Super Bowl was kind of boring for me. I want points. I like offense better than defense. And on that,
Well, the over-under was 47.5, and it landed on 47, so.
Right. Wow. It's amazing how they do
It's-
that.
It really is.
the Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady type quarterback done? Like, are we not going to have like an arm-slinging
Ben
pocket
Roethlisberger's not
quarterback
done.
anymore?
That's Josh Allen.
Wow.
Josh Allen's more athletic.
Yeah.
But when Ben Roethlisberger was Josh Allen's age, that's how he played.
Not quite.
I would. It's
Not as good, 'cause
Brady,
Josh Allen's
Manning,
better.
Breeze, like there are. I understand what he's saying. I just maybe
He was a horse.
Yeah, will we ever see a great pocket passer?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Of course. I mean, I think Mahomes is a great pocket passer. He just has enough
Well,
athleticism to scoot when he
yeah.
has to. But it's not like his game is all on his legs. Like, I mean, that's what makes him so good.
But I
He's
think in
able to-
today's NFL, the defenses, everyone talks about offenses and Shanahan and, McVay, but the defenses have also become more complex. And I think if you can't extend plays with your feet, or at least get yourself out of trouble and pick up those yards when everything else is broken down, it's hard to succeed now in today's NFL because of the defenses.
Yeah, and I would just say too, I think everybody has to be athletic. Like the days of guys. I mean, Tom was what he was, but Drew. I mean, just guys who are statues back there. I don't think that's gonna fly anymore. You need somebody who at least has some. Even Mac. Like Mac is probably the modern version of that. Like, and he's not a terrible athlete, but you need to have a little bit of escapability to be a quarterback. In this
I think
league now.
until offensive line play starts to catch up to pass rushers,
Right.
then you have to have some.
But even
escapability.
then, I mean, that's a hat on a hat. But even go back to the days like Pittsburgh started doing it with the Red Dog and dropping guys out and bringing guys in from different areas. It's not that it's
I'm like Green Dog, right?
Yeah, he had it though. He was on a roll.
What?
The Green Dog, yeah, Red Dog,
Green
Dog.
They called it Red Dog.
Red Dog?
back
Oh,
then.
oh,
too.
yeah, that's
Blitzes?
Yeah.
Red Dog.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah,
I guess
thank
thought
you,
Green
Paul.
Dog was the.
Thank you, Paul.
Every once in a while, Fred, I have to defend you.
The back stays, you go.
So it's not just a matter of having
I
five
agree
good
with
offensive linemen. You have to be smart. You have to have a quarterback who
Hot
can
route.
read
Hot
what's
route.
going on, and get out of trouble if he has to.
Can you just go stand over there?
Sorry.
Red Dog.
Red Dog.
Hector's in Providence. What's up, Hector?
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. I just have a quick thought. So one thing that this fan base needs to get in their head is that the days of the old Super Bowl runs is over with, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to sniff the playoffs for at least the next 2 seasons. We have plenty of time to develop a quarterback, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, whoever you want. But these people saying we got to get a elite quarterback off the rip is kind of crazy to me. Most teams don't even have anything close to a Mahomes, a Josh Allen, or Joe Burrow. So I just think this fan base needs to pipe down a little bit, realize the situation, and know that, hey, we're going to be rebuilding for a while. But with Gerard Mayo, I think, we stand a little bit of a chance. We might make a little bit of noise if we take a quarterback and it works out. But I just wanted to send a message to Pats Nation that you guys need to be patient.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right.
I'm good.
I mean, what would we be saying right now if a couple little things went the other way for the 49ers and they pulled that game out?
Yeah.
I mean, they were that close. Let's face it. What would we be saying? Like, you can win the way the 49ers did it.
I guess
you know?
Mahomes isn't
But then
as
I would
good
say
as
it's going to
Brady.
take you 5 years.
Yeah, because you have to build that
I would
team.
push back on the, you can't expect to make the playoffs in the next 2. Next year, I'm pretty realistic. That's a lot of overhaul to hit, not the least of which is the quarterback.
Right.
But in 2 years, you can't put together a couple of good back-to-back off seasons
Because
and be a competitive
right
team in
now,
2 years.
because we don't have the quarterback, it's more likely than not it's going to.
If you don't have a quarterback, I agree.
Well, but it's also a difference between making the playoffs and making a run
Right.
in the playoffs.
And I think in 2 years, you can realistically be expecting to do what they did last year and have the last game of the season be contingent on making the playoffs or not.
Right. Like
I don't think that's outrageous.
The Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts,
If
why
not? If we get C.J. Stroud, we can be right in it.
No.
All right.
No, but you're right.
Yeah, we got
like that's how. Like if Jaden Daniels is any good or Drake May
Right.
is any good. I mean, obviously Drake May stinks according to North
state of
Carolina
North
at
Carolina.
large.
Yep. All right, that's going to be it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered. We'll be back on Thursday. Catch 22's on Wednesday. Thursday. Okay. Talk to you then.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.